Hello, everybody.
What's up, guys?
Welcome to In Depth. We've changed the day, same time,
Different day.
and different day. And
Yep.
look at our overlays. Aren't those awesome? Oh my God,
They're so beautiful.
they're amazing. Hold on a second.
Did you make our first step overlays fully on your own?
No, Terra made those.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I didn't know you were that talented.
Oh, I'm definitely not. Okay, so here we are. Big thanks to Alarise for making our new overlays. Or, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I forgot to go live on Team Liquid, so that's what I was just doing.
Oh, okay.
My brain farted a little bit.
That's okay.
There we go. All set. So yeah, we've moved the show. We're doing an episode this week on WCS Challenger, which the first two groups from Europe and the first two groups from NA are done. We're only going to be looking at European replays today. It just happens to be, I kind of looked at the groups, and the European groups look pretty exciting. I went through some of the replays. We're going to watch a quick TVZ series, and then we're going to be focusing heavily on TVP.
One other thing, guys. I believe next Friday, we were just talking about this, it might not be on the same day because GSL qualifiers, but I think we still want every Friday to be our day. Just that next Friday might be a miss or a different day.
We're trying out Fridays right now. Some stuff with my kids' school changed on Mondays, which kind of made it ludicrous to have the show on Mondays. I have so much stuff to do. But we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know, Twitter or whatever.
The one thing we're trying to be really on top of is just having the show
consistently. Yeah.
Yes. So this is coming up rather quickly. But
it helps us with our brains getting bigger and foldier.
Oh,
right?
yeah. It's bigger and foldier.
It's basically a high score university for us.
My brain's getting smaller from this because it keeps folding more and more and more.
It's like a crumpled piece of paper.
You know how they say, like, a newspaper you can only fold in half?
Like 7 times? Yeah.
My brain gets folded in half, like, so many more times. It's actually getting tiny.
Well, that's good.
But it's going to reach the moon soon.
I think that means that if you, like, because you have so much fluid around your brain that it's very well protected, too. So that's
for
good.
Sure, yeah.
Bet you couldn't even get a concussion if you tried.
No, I could not even do it, but I may eventually drown.
I think that's how it works. Okay, so
yeah,
ZVT. I haven't seen any of these replays, so we're going to be spitballing a bit, but I think that's kind of the point of the show.
Well, the first 4 replays we're going to go over from Group A. I've seen all of these games. I went over almost everything from Group A, but the group overall, in my opinion, had 4 very interesting games and then a few So we're going to do Group A, which was the uThermal Elazer group, where those two advanced, DNS and Bly fell out. And we're going to be looking at all of uThermal's games. And then we're going to jump over to Group B and just look at a bunch of TVP. I'm kind of leaning a little bit towards Marine Lore games, but we can definitely check out some of the Hero Marine ones as well.
Sure.
I'm just kind of Marine Lord's an interesting case to me because he's coming back so quick.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about people that come back because some people do way better than others. You know what I mean? For example, Taja's been back, but he did well, but not in Taja level. Taja was like one of the best players at some points in the all of StarCraft 2. But he hasn't been really on form. Like when you compare him to someone like Parting is just performing way better. And he also had really high highs, but he doesn't. I wouldn't think of him as someone who would possibly do better than Taja, you know? And Marine Lord seems to be doing really well. I'm trying to think of other people that came back. DRG kind of stagnant a bit too. We see him not really do much. He qualified for one Protoss.
Yeah, he had like a good show match that he won and stuff, like a best of 7 versus someone really good. I can't remember who now. But yeah, I know what you mean. A lot of people come back
MC
and
too.
Can't reach that level. Well, the thing is, they reach, actually, to be perfectly honest, I think that a lot of these people, when they come back, they actually are better than they used to be.
But
after a little bit, they get better than they used to be. But everyone's level has risen so much that you have to get so much better than you used to be. And I think that how good they were before is obviously helping them to get up to a really good level. Like, every player right now in Code S would have won all the GSLs that DRG was in way back, right? But here he is qualifying for it, and he didn't win all those GSLs. So that kind of shows that it's like, yeah, his level has gone up
I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
One person who does really well is Fantasy. I'm so happy Fantasy does well, too, because he plays like his own style.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm very interested to see how this develops. Yeah, let's go into it. I'm interested. What do you think about uThermal as a player? Because he seems to play such a unique uThermal-esque style.
Okay. For me personally, I think he's the smartest foreign Terran.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's not like a slight to anyone. Just
He's definitely like the best strategically thinking Terran, I think,
Yes,
in
yes,
Europe.
I think so. And I guess I don't really want to compare him to Juan too much because Juan spends all of his time in Korea,
Mm.
so he's kind of I don't consider him as much of a foreign Terran anymore. But I think overall, uThermal is very smart, kind of cutting edge on the metagame, and the way he thinks about the game, I think, is really really good.
Mm.
So yeah,
The only
he's
thing
one of my favorite
I
players
wish he
from
would
that scene.
improve, I think his mindset has always not been the greatest. Like when you look at some of his tweets and the way he
Yeah, it
conducts
goes up and
himself,
down a bit.
yeah, like I think he understands the game to a really high level. He understands like what he can do to have edges throughout the entire period of the
Hmm.
game and play his own style that's not even like in the meta, but at the same time he gets tilted off the face of the earth, which is like a weird combo.
Yeah, I feel like if he conducted himself mentally exactly like Cyril, I feel like he'd probably be the best foreigner. If that makes any
I
sense,
think
you
I
know what I
agree.
mean?
I agree.
You like,
He's got like the perfect climate to do it, you know? Like he plays in a region that's pretty low Terran. He plays his
Mhm.
own specific style, which is great when the metas are shifting and the patches are coming and the maps are changing. Like this is all like really great climate to be like your own player, like
Mhm.
your own play style. And I feel like he could. I mean, he has been a champion. Don't get me wrong, but he's not at the same level as someone like a consistent Showtime or Neeb. I think because he has really high highs and really low lows for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that can have a little bit to do with the race. We see, especially foreign Terrans, dip down lower
Mm.
in comparison to the other two races than we see Korean Terrans ever do. Um, and I think that part of that is understanding, a part of that is mechanics and stuff like that. But
Do you
the thing
think
is, I
his?
don't think that there's a Terran in Europe better than him. So, and I don't actually, when I look at his actual play, I don't really consider it lower than any of the top tier
Mm.
Europeans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's
understand.
like I don't know how to explain this exactly. I'm not trying to say Terran is
Mm.
imbalanced, and I'm not trying to say or too weak or something like that. But yeah, like I consider him one of the very very best.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you think one other thing that his play
Hmm.
style is part of the reason why he has such high highs and such low lows? You think if he played a more standard, like more meta style, that he would
Well,
actually be more consistent?
um, okay, you got to be careful with that, right? Because
Mm.
like I think I understand what you're saying. Like if you just kind of robotically copied, I don't. The thing is, that's good to a certain extent, but that's something that I'm trying to be very on top of telling people is not uh, good.
Well,
Once you get up to the level that like uThermal's at, for instance, you must add in your own stuff.
your own flavor, I agree.
Or because like look at Hero Marine, right? He's like one of the best, but you would consider him pretty by the book,
Hero Marine is
straightforward,
very by
right?
the book. I agree.
Uh,
We don't see anything like, oh my god, that's such a Hero Marine style-esque thing. You're just like,
yeah,
wow, he just played a solid straight up game.
yeah, like he'll take more games off Cyril, let's say, than a lot of players.
Mm.
But at the same time, is he winning tournaments with that? It gets
Right.
a little bit hard
I
because
feel
if you
you.
try to do everything by the book, straight up, how it's supposed to be done, I think it becomes extremely hard to be the absolute best.
Cool. All right, well, we can jump into games knowing what we think and what we said. I think it's a good segue into the games
Yeah, sure.
with him.
Well, just a little intro to uThermal because we are just starting off with four of his games. So this is going to be the only non-TVP that we see today is these two games against Elazer.
Mm.
Oh, I
Okay.
think I put that volume a little bit too loud. Hold on one second.
Did you?
Yeah, I boosted it back up because we used a different mic last week, so I had to put it down.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, get into this game. Take a look. I just wanted to get your opinion on how uThermal plays this series because overall, because he went 4-0 in his group, and I was
Mm.
like, oh, 4-0 from uThermal. And it's a pretty tough group, right? Like these are strong players. Um,
I actually really like this.
yeah.
On a side note,
Okay.
like
Why?
even if you're just playing a totally normal game,
Mhm.
it's so annoying because you can lift the racks and kill the overlord if it's sitting
Mhm.
here. It could be CC first sometimes. Like CC first, people do this because it's like a quick and easy wall, and if they 12
Yeah.
pull, you're probably dead anyway. So it doesn't really matter. like
Yeah.
this wall, I really like, and it doesn't really feel like you lose to anything. Like if you go for a Baneling all in or something, it doesn't really matter if your wall's up here because it's a supply depot
Mm-hmm.
reactor supply depot wall.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he would have done the same thing over here because the reactor's not in the wall.
That's a good point.
But and also if he spawns over here, the reactor's on the outside. So
Yeah,
this might
yeah.
just be because he spawned on this side, but I think on this side it's really nice.
What do you think he's going to do? And again, No Regret has not seen these games, and I have. So what do you think he's going to do?
Based off of the the game, 7 minutes. Maybe something hellbatty.
Okay.
But it's pretty much impossible for me to tell at this point in the game. Could be anything.
Okay. I just want you to know that if he was in the bottom left, he would have walled there.
You think so?
I know so because I've seen the game.
Okay, well, I'm interested.
Let's go.
Okay, well, this, either way, even if he had or hadn't, this is, okay, never mind. 3Rex Reaper?
Yes,
Oh, I didn't even see that SCV. I should have saw that SCV. I would have been able to say it was 3Rex Reaper.
Well, you're good. How popular is 3Rex Reaper right now on the ladder?
Not popular at all.
Yeah,
I think I've played one game out of 40, maybe.
Yeah.
50 is 3Rex Reaper. And it's always like a guy who's like 5'3", and you're like, okay. You just catch all the Reapers. Though it was actually on this map, too, and it was the same thing, wall in the low ground.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if the map has anything to do with it, but I have a feeling that guy was probably just a Reaper guy.
The map doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah. Well, there's a nice jump spot.
Yeah, no, you're right. And at the natural, there's a good jump spot as well. But there's a reason why I chose this series.
Does he do it both games?
He does it both games.
This is so uThermal to do it too, though.
Well, I was interested, right? Because this is an older strategy. Once upon a time,
it was very strong.
It was super strong, especially from Bjorn. He was like, Bjorn himself got the Reaper nerfed so many times, right? So the fact that we're seeing this, it was so weird, right? Because okay, uThermal 4-0's the group, and this build to me in my opinion, I look at any build that's like, is that my phone?
No, it's mine. Sorry.
Okay. I look at any build that looks like this, and it makes me think it's like, oh, this is like a skill tester in a lot of ways, right? Where it's like, am I just better than you? You know, can you stop this build? This build is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with this build is not the initial 3 Reapers, and this is how it's been for me on ladder 2. The problem with it is when they go like 2 or 3 more Raxes, and your economy hasn't caught up to them, and eventually they just start scaling better and better and better, and you get worse and worse and worse. If you go into a Roach Warren here, and you got like Ling Roach or something like that, they can actually just kill you. And if you go Mass Ling, it's not good either. So like you need to have a really good economy, and at the same time you can't take like damage. So this is actually a proper skill check, right? Because you need to find that balance. And at the same time, this could just be a reactor tech lab and just go into bio. Yeah. So there's a very big difference. I can already tell that that's probably not the case because we're playing uThermal, that he's probably going to throw down a bunch more Raxes and go Mass Reaper. Also the game length. If you usually go like reactor tech lab, the games go out longer because you're playing a normal game. But I'm very interested to see. So you guys, for people at home, you probably want to watch this. This is the most important thing as someone dealing with 3Rex Reaper, watching the drone count versus the SCV count. It's so important, especially if they're taking a natural. If they're going 1 base, it doesn't really matter, right? Because if you hold it, you win. But if they're going 2 base and your economy is even slightly worse, you actually just die. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Because the Reapers trade efficiently unless you get surrounded. So you need to have a big enough economy that you can just throw units away and not just lose the game. This is so good, right? Because all this is just income lost for the Zerg player. How many has he lost to any? I don't know how to check if he's lost any units, but
I think we can't with this overlay.
1 unit lost. 1 Reaper has died. Yeah, so as long as he keeps up the big ball, I really like the Queens, but at the same time, like he's actually doing a really good job of not like. Remember when I was talking about the income? He's doing a really good job of finding the right drone count, but I think he might be. Is he overcommitting? Maybe not. Let's see. 8 Reapers, 12 Lings, 5 Queens. No, this is like perfect so far from Elazer, which is interesting to me. Okay, look, it is more Raxes.
Yeah, he's getting +1 with it as well, though.
Yikes. And we do see an Evo, but no Roach Warren. That's a little weird. So I guess he's going Mass Link.
Now, I want to just take a look at this moment real quick, right?
Sure.
Because the thing is, I remember that this was super strong. I do remember that the Reaper got nerfed and everything, but there were also Zergs that were starting to deal with it reasonably well. I don't remember exactly specifically what the counter was. This game, if we just jump back a few seconds,
sure.
It feels to me like an important part here is the Queen zoning. So I feel like this moment might actually be where Elazer went wrong. Because he actually has the creep to the edge, right? And he actually has his overlords in such a place that he knows where they are at all times. Like, look at this spread of overlords,
You just need to worry about Reapers jumping in a nat or something.
Yeah,
so these Queens should be in the main.
The Queens should just be mirroring the Reapers, in my opinion, if you look at this, right?
I agree.
So he's like, he starts to go up here, the Queens move. Okay, turns around. The Queens should turn all the way around, but see, they just walk back to here. So I feel like this was... I don't know if this was necessarily. I guess this wouldn't be a back-breaking one,
Yeah.
but getting those 2 creep tumors is actually pretty gigantic,
Well,
right?
he can just rebuild them, but yeah, it is quite annoying. Like, I assume he throws them down again immediately.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he does. Okay.
But at the same time, I agree with. Okay, so this is good. The big thing here is the link count not dying, right? Like, if these trade out with Reapers, then he's got no support. It also means he has to produce more units. The 34 drones to 28, we're getting close to that number again, right? Like, that's the biggest number in the game right now. Because once they get close enough that the Reapers can just outmass or outproduce the Zerg, you're not winning. So the Terran has to do a really good job of trying to keep that number low, and we're almost at the max capacity of his income on 2 base, right? So it becomes nearly impossible for Elazer to take a third and have more income, whereas the Terran can just mine off of 2 bases
and
have a higher income.
Higher, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going because I want to see the moments that actually go wrong here for Elazer.
Okay.
See,
so
he gets both those creep tumors once again.
He throws them down again.
But he does force them back. Okay, the queens are mirroring better now. Yeah. Look at that. Good mirroring.
He's doing basically everything perfect, by the way, so far, Elazer. Like, it hasn't felt like he's made any huge mistakes.
I felt like that one mirror was off. And, by the way, the one mirror being off, these queens were slower getting up here now. Now he's going to lose a queen due to it. Right?
Yeah, you're right.
Because the creep spread is missing here. We saw them slow up. They clumped up here. He didn't get them into the right position. Also, he had to lay 4 more tumors due to that one scan that got 2 tumors. Okay, because then uThermal jumped back up, got the other 2. So that's 4 tumors. That is 100 energy.
A lot of
that is 2 transfusions. So that initial non-mirroring moment that I pointed out, I actually think is kind of big here.
I agree. It's not negligible, but at the same time, I still think the biggest thing is the economies. Because, like, let's say he does have his other queen, a 4th queen, and this creep tumor stuff never happened. As long as he's being active with the Reapers and forcing, like, no 3rd base, like, he should be killing this. If instead of he was just killing the 3rd base and, like, keeping him on 2 base income with no Roach Warren, what is he going to do? He's just going to mass Lings off 2 base forever while there's mass Reaper with +1? Like, that's eventually is just going to kill you. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, if you're 2 base only Ling, you're going to die. Unless you have, like, 100 queens, which you don't. And he doesn't actually lose the queen, which is really nice.
Okay, yeah, that's a good save. All right, so
it feels like no matter what, it's nearly impossible to just take no damage.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, you should be taking damage. Like, I've heard people say before that, like, oh, I shouldn't, be losing any workers in this rush. I remember a StarCraft 1 player told me that once. I'm like, well, he cut all his workers to rush you. Of course you're going to have to lose some workers. Like, that's part of it, right? This is a very aggressive build from uThermal. It should do some damage. Right,
I agree.
I want to take a look. A little bit of slowing. Go ahead.
So, yeah. I actually don't mind if you keep it. The only thing is the economy. It's pretty tight for the Terran player, right? Like, we're looking at his base. He's not loaded. So every scan to kill 2 creep tumors is probably worth it, to be honest. As long as you have the energy to recreep, it probably doesn't matter too much. Okay, I like this move by Elazer, but it's risky. Like, catching Reapers on the map is so strong. It also just forces the Terran to be aware that you could be surrounded at any moment. Like, look at this. This is just nice. He just killed more Reapers than he's killed the entire game, right?
I think you're right, actually.
And he has enough at home to not die. So I'm actually amazed, because this feels like it's a perfect response so far. It really does feel that way.
From
Elazer. He's taken extremely minimal damage.
It feels like strategically it's extremely good.
He's kept up in drone count the entire game. He's, on the map, he's aware of everything that's going on, right? The only thing that I can fault him for is the fact that there's no future tech, that it's only speedlings and banelings, which is it's a viable option. But like I said, when we're talking about scales, when the Reapers start to scale way better than the Lings, especially if the economies are even. This is really good trade for Thermal. Oh.
Good flank, though.
That was almost really good. It's actually amazing. He hit the perfect +1 timing here. I think at this point, obviously, you're just dead.
Yeah.
Like, let's go back and we'll watch this one more time. Let's watch the amount of units and, like, the amount of preparation that Elazer put into the fight. Because it seems like this kind of just came out of nowhere and killed him. So
Okay.
+1 is 10 seconds off, roughly. These things are way out of position. Though Elazer can't really tell when +1 finishes, so it's not like he can be ready for this. He's going to just kind of ball up all of his units. Let's just follow Elazer's cam, because I want to see if he's really aware that this is coming, which he should be. Yeah, like even now, right now, like the alarm bells aren't going off, you know? It feels like he doesn't really realize that this is it, this is the commitment. Possibly because the entire game, uThermal's been backing and killing one creep tumor and backing, right? So it's kind of interesting that the decision to like snap, all right, I'm killing you, is like, it's so decisive that Elazer probably did not think it was going to be that decisive. Even though it makes complete sense on paper, right? +1 finishes.
Yeah.
How many Reapers is it?
He knows that some Lings are across the map right now as well.
Yeah, it just makes sense. Like this is the time to kill them if you're ever going to.
Yeah.
Like you've got your +1, you've got your full count of Reapers. Yeah, I think Elazer didn't respect it as much as he should.
What do you do to respect this a bit more, though?
Well, the Lings at home, this is not a negligible amount of Lings.
Yeah.
Like this is actually a pretty big deal. If these Lings were already here, I think it would be a huge difference. Like these Lings could more effectively surround. Like the reason why they don't really want to commit now is because there's nothing else here. Like once these Lings die, there's just free reign. These Queens have really low energy, maybe a couple too many creep tumors.
Well, it's now been 150 mana of additional creep tumors up here due to the one mirroring error.
Yeah, but even here, like this is a lot.
Yeah, no, that's fair as well. I'm just
like one tumor here would already do basically the same amount that all this is doing because it's all in the same area.
It's interesting because that is not something that we normally talk about, is overmaking creep tumors. That seems like a hard thing to do with Zerg.
I also think he could have had more queens. Like what? He's got 760 minerals. He could have definitely had more queens. He could have had maybe like 6 or 7 queens. I just don't think he really respected it as much as he should have. I think if we brought Elazer back to the day where Reapers were just demolishing everybody, there's no way his response is like this.
Okay.
This is just like I don't respect your, like I'm a better player, I don't respect what's going on play.
Yeah.
It just feels like that. I mean, he's got a lair, he's got +1. He only has 3 queens here. His Lings are on the other side of the map. Like, are you really respecting the Reaper play?
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's fair.
So at this point, yeah, uThermal's doing basically everything right. Like, he takes a bit of a bad fight here. Like, that could have gone a lot better than it did, because one of the mines kind of blew up his stuff. But at this point, it doesn't even matter, you know? Once the queens go down, there's nothing here. Because you can just zone these Lings forever.
Yeah. All right, let's check out
I'm very interested in the second game, because the second game, I hope that he would respect it more.
Yeah. I'm actually not sure. We're going to have to check.
6:55. Interesting to note that the games ended 5 seconds apart from each other.
Well, that is +1 timing, right?
Yep.
That seems to be... well, the other thing is, because I think that uThermal is a very smart player, maybe there's something to this build right now that people are missing out on. Or, I mean, the thing is, it is a bit off-meta. It's an older build. So that could be part of it, too, that you're not... Like you said, if you bring Elazer back in time, he was active. He was a very high-level pro gamer at that time, where this was a very popular build. And probably he's not as used to it right now.
I'm very curious how this plays out.
Yeah.
Let's go with everyone. All right.
So...
Is this exactly the same?
I
think
it's
so.
It's exactly the same, yeah.
Okay.
That's why we're watching these.
No, I was just making sure that this third Rax wasn't like slightly faster or something.
No.
Where's the Overlord? Wait. Am I missing something here? Oh, this actually... Did he do this in game 1 too?
I don't remember.
This might actually be the reason why uThermal's doing this.
Is because Elazer doesn't send the Overlords over?
Yeah, because you can't tell it's 3 racks until this Reaper comes.
Well, does your build change drastically in that time? I don't think it does.
It can. I mean, it can. It depends on what
do
Elazer...
you make 6-lings or 8-lings? Like
No. It depends. I'm just curious, like what...
Maybe you don't make your third or something?
Well, I think the third's fine. I just think the game plays out a little bit different if you know it's 3 racks immediately at the beginning of the game. Perhaps an extra queen right now, but at this point he already knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't really matter. I just find it interesting that this Overlord is just not sent across the map at all. And I was wondering if that might be the reason why uThermal's doing it against Elazer, but it just looks like he's just doing it. Maybe because Elazer is Elazer. This game feels like he's doing a much better job at doing damage, by the way. I don't know what it is, what the difference is between this game and last game, but these Reapers seem to be doing so much more. I'm wondering if it's just the rush distance on this map.
It is a little bit shorter.
I mean, at this point, I already feel like he's dead. Like, this is a lot of damage. Look at, he's losing so much. These queens are so low HP, too. This one could literally be sniped if it, if we force a transfuse. Oh, my God. This game should just end here, actually. The speed isn't even done yet, and he just lost 2 queens. Wonder why this one was so much more effective. I think the only thing I can think of is the rush distance. And also, Elazer just thinking that uThermal will play at a certain style. What is going on? What is this? That was just a mistake. There's actually no reason to do that.
Well, I think at this point, Lazer's probably
How does this game go on for 2 minutes? It should just end here. What's the drone count?
Damn.
Ooh.
Oh, that's why it goes on. Look at that.
Yeah. Even that wasn't that bad, though, considering all the damages that's been done.
Yeah.
He's still going. The madman. And, like, the third got cancelled, so clearly he wouldn't have taken that, right?
I actually kind of want to just jump into the other replays to see what went wrong this game compared to that game. Like, what did Elazer do early on?
Okay, so we should have noted when they attack, like, when the real aggression happened. There was 3 queens on low ground with 5 links.
Okay.
Because something went wrong. Like, uThermal just jumped on him. All right. Let's see what we got. So I'm just going to watch around.
Check the Overlord. Okay, this one's going straight.
Where's this one rallied to?
Now let's see how he changes his build when he gets it there. Okay, he sees it. 4 lings, 2 queens, 6 lings, speed immediately.
Okay, so there's already 1 extra
skips his third. Yeah, the build is changing. Yeah. He's making a bit more lings.
He's building a lot more links, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess this is why he gets jumped on the second game, because he took his third and didn't have any units. How many lings is it right now? Yeah, this is way more lings.
Yeah. Okay. So he just the Overlord scouting actually did make a.
Why do you think he didn't send the Overlords in the second game?
Looking for proxies, I guess. I mean, what else could it be? Why would you not send
I don't
it otherwise?
know. It felt like the Overlord was in a weird spot for a proxy, though.
Huh.
Didn't it? Let's jump in one more time. The other one.
The other one? Okay.
I'm just curious if he sends it out, like, to a proxy and then sends it to the middle, because I know the one was sitting in a middle spot. It's possible that he thought he was going to get 3x'd again, and he's like, I'm going to just leave my Overlords in spots that will help me.
Oh.
But at the same time...
But he didn't make the lings, so I think that's not it, but I get what you're saying.
Do you think he tried to be greedier? Maybe he saw the game 1 and was like, he doesn't really push me with the Reapers as aggressively as I... Maybe
well,
I can
the
get
thing
away
is,
with
he
it.
reacted to it. He made like 10 lings. Normally you have 4 lings against just a Reaper, right? Yeah, see, okay, you went halfway, and then he pulled the lings back.
I don't
feel the Overlords back.
I feel like this isn't a very good proxy scout.
No, it's not.
Because, like, you can just come here, and then, like... Cause
oh, you know what? But here's the thing, too, because you got to think about this at a very high level, right? Maybe he felt like last game how he just, over time, died. He wanted to get a couple of earlier drones.
That's what I mean, yeah. That was my original point. Like, he saw the... Okay, so the first Overlord does scout for proxies. Usually the first Overlord has to come across the map immediately. So that could be it. Like, the second Overlord isn't just going to cross the map, I don't think.
No, and it does not either. But yeah, he might have just been trying to sneak a couple extra drones. The thing that I don't get is he did throw it on the third base as well.
Let's see when he 100% knows it's a 3x.
Yeah, I think it's actually when the second or third Reaper comes.
The second Reaper is 100%, almost. Like,
yeah.
It's extremely rare.
No one goes 2x
Actually, I'm pretty
Reaper.
sure you can time it because there's 2 Reapers in production at the same time right now.
Yeah.
So he's taking his third.
Sees the Reaper.
Okay, no, this is normal.
First Reaper.
First Reaper, nothing crazy. He's only got 4 links, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's totally normal response. He doesn't know it's 3x yet. Are we following his camera? We are. He's building drones.
Second Reaper's
Second
here.
Reaper's here. He should know it's 3x.
Starts speed. Another Queen. Last game when he knew.
He's building drones.
Yeah. Look how many drones he's making. He's making 5 extra drones. Also, obviously, with the third base, he's not affording as many queens.
He was
early
just
on.
trying to be greedy
Yeah,
by
he
the looks of
was.
it.
Yeah.
Then he got punished super hard for
Yeah.
it, which is good for uThermal. That's pretty impressive. He just jumps on it.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was a.
It
Very
was
good
so
call.
decisive. Like he saw the third. I wonder if seeing the third and seeing the link count was just like, I know I can kill you here. You know what I mean?
It's like yeah. Well, the thing is that does seem like it is just a skill tester build, right? So, cool games. Interesting to see that older build come back and have him 2-0 a Zerg the caliber of the laser.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to see that anymore, though. I'm going
I
to really
feel
keep an eye
like-
on all of uThermal's games in the bracket stage.
To be honest, I don't think we will, which is impressive to
Yeah?
me.
You don't
I
think
feel
so?
like we'll see it, but there's no. I highly doubt he goes for it 2 times in a row against anybody
right?
different, like a different player. For example, this was Cyril. No chance, I think.
Yeah.
I think you just
Maybe.
respect Cyril to another degree where you're like.
I want him to do it. I
No,
want
it
him to
would
win
be
the whole
really,
thing with
really
Reapers.
interesting if we had like Cyril Reapers versus Elazer Reapers. If we do get that, maybe we'll do an episode on that.
I think that there's a big difference here, right? Because uThermal's popping up out of nowhere with this old build, whereas now everyone knows that he did it to a laser. It's if you're
Yeah,
a
I
professional, you
agree.
know every build that everyone did against Zerg. If you're a Zerg professional,
I just feel like if you're really smart and you really understand the game, which we obviously all would say Cyril does,
Yeah.
that you can just make tiny, just microscopic changes to what happened game 1 and game 2 and win.
yes.
Like game 1, it could have been microscopic changes and won the game.
Well, that could have been what Elazer thought. He's like, okay, well, he's spending time attacking my third. Maybe I can get a couple more drones.
No, I agree.
There's
I just
the
think he
jump up
took it-
locations are not as good on Cyber Forest, so he can be extra greedy.
He took it too far.
Yeah, he did.
Like
Yeah,
he took a
well, that's
third.
clear.
He did a little bit of too much of everything. All right,
Yeah.
well, let's jump into this game.
Okay, yeah. So this game really caught my eye. I almost turned off the replay because early on we're gonna have a Hellion drop that does way too much damage.
Okay.
But oh god, I wish that it didn't do as much damage as it's about to do.
Okay.
Okay, because the game, what uThermal does after that, highly interesting. Like,
ready.
So then I was like, please do it game 2. Please do it game 2. Of course he didn't. But I want you to see it. It's great. Okay, so watch when this Hellion drop comes in, you can see the ludicrous amount of damage that it does. I tell you.
Is it gonna be 2 Hellions at the Nat too?
No. Okay, so here we go. I wish that the Hellion drop didn't kill as much as it does, because that always makes me suspect of what I'm watching afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, everything, the whole game's so different now. What counts
No,
here?
I agree. Yeah, this feels bad.
It is. It is. I think you got to insta pylon there or something. Like you got to.
One of the first pylons should be there anyways because you're.
Oh no, yeah, but I mean, he warped in a stalker right here. I think
Oh.
better than warping the stalker would have been having a gas probe build a pylon there, so you have to go around towards the stalkers that are coming up. But yeah, look at this damage, man. Crazy.
This was almost not that bad, and then it became really, really bad. Like, for
14.
example, if you'd killed the medevac after the first 6 went down or 8,
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
it's playable.
It is. Well, the thing is, it is still playable. We have a 16-minute game, but
Yeah.
I mean, 14 probes that early. It
Yeah,
is.
it
It is
feels
so
bad.
worth for uThermal. So okay, so that happened. Okay, but I still want to watch this game and take a look at strategically what uThermal's up to. You'll see in a second here. That's a beautiful position, by the way. You see that?
Yeah.
That exactly covers probes,
Does
and
it
it's
even
so hard
matter?
to get your
I
stalkers
think this is actually just like a good spot because like if
Yeah.
this forge isn't here, it doesn't really change much. I think you might be able to get a stalker here.
I think you have to step into range.
I think you do.
I think you actually have. I don't think a stalker. I think
Here?
his little tippy toe will be over that line.
Yeah, I agree. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a great spot, and look at how tight that circle was too to the gas. It's. I love it when people find little things like that. Except when I'm playing against it.
Yeah. Gas is also really important in this matchup too.
Yeah. Okay, so you see he's going mech right now, right?
Yes. Sure.
But this is not like. I mean, we've seen so many mech versus Protoss games, but this is. This is the uThermal special, I guess. Okay, this game is really different.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
One thing to note, I think almost always if you scout mech, has he scouted it
He
yet?
hasn't scouted mech yet.
I was gonna say almost always you don't. It depends on the player you are, but Colossus just doesn't feel great, especially
No, I
Thermal
agree.
Lance. So usually we see like an instant change of the build. So right now it already feels like he's got
Check
it
if
quite
his
late.
observer moved. Did his observer? You didn't see it, huh? V? Oh, it does now. It does now. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's
well, I guess he's
interesting.
going for it.
And he doubles down with a second robo.
Sometimes this is an okay call. Like I think against certain mech styles it's fine, but if he goes like heavy tank, you're just Colossus just do nothing. They feel like they do nothing.
I don't care for Colossus at all against mech.
It's okay.
I feel like it's fine to get a couple disruptors early on, a few disruptors possibly against battle mech especially, but
Colossi feels okay
I'm not a
against like
fan.
heli and heavy mech, but who even does that? Like
I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
no, I agree. I agree with you. Like I was watching Estrella play next to me, and every time he scouted mech, he just cancel his upgrade
Yeah.
and just get blink immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, we even charge doesn't feel great like so early on. Blink just feels like a stronger upgrade, especially against Cyclone mech.
Oh yeah.
was
Well,
cute.
I think in general, blink is the first thing you want. I feel like personally in my experience and my watching and everything, I like blink into storm, but.
Triple Tech Lab.
Oh yeah. No, this is why this game is so weird. Watch, and it's actually going to get even weirder than this.
I don't like Blink against this though.
No, no, I
So
absolutely agree.
to speak on this, triple Tech Lab Factory is probably pretty good against Blink guys.
Yeah, I would say so.
I think one game we defeated mech together was a pretty good game.
Yeah,
That was a good game of
you saw the
responses.
Tosis style versus mech. That's
Yeah, felt pretty good. I was just throwing Tempest at him. He'd kill them all. I'm like, well, good thing I got wave 2.
Yeah, I
Like
have a lot
7
of
Stargate,
Nexuses.
like 20 bases.
Uh,
+2. He's a little bit supply blocked. The only thing is, I feel like the early game tended itself to be, if this was a bio push or some kind of like tank push or something like that, it's so much harder to deal with it as a Protoss.
yes.
Like, it feels like uThermal didn't capitalize on his advantage in the early game, and he's giving DNS so much leeway into like coming back, take a fourth, get your upgrades, whatever, because there's no push coming.
Well, we talked about this with a Gumiho last week, right? Where I mentioned that it feels like if you get ahead, the bio follow-up feels
There's
much
so much
harder
more.
to stop because you don't have any time.
Yeah, I agree. And if you get upgrades that don't finish in time, or you
Yeah.
get caught out of position, the game just ends. It
Yeah.
just ends.
Whereas whenever there's mech, it gives you so much time to kind of catch up. You can cut way more corners and stuff.
And here's the thing with Mech 2, it just so like walks straight across the map, Like there's no surprise.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes so long to get across the map too, that once it begins, like fully well exactly where it's coming, exactly how many tanks it is,
Yeah.
exactly what corners to cut, whereas Bio can just show up.
Yes. Well, I agree completely with like what you're saying, but the craziest part about this game hasn't happened yet.
Okay, I'm excited.
Because it's like mass tank mech, right?
Yes.
Which already I'm like, well, that's
It's even
odd. I'm
slower.
excited. Like
Yeah.
it's cool because this is not one of the mechs that we ever see, but it's actually much crazier than that. No regret.
So far, the mass tank mech, as we're going to call it, it feels really strong against DNS's army composition.
Oh yes, this army is just garb against that. I feel like you just have to counterattack almost if he ever moves out.
But like at the same time, what would you do if he threw down 3 Stargates?
As uThermal,
Yeah.
I think you add on Thors and go.
Go? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But you have to
'Cause
have
his
full
army-
vision. Does he have full vision of everything?
No, he
He's
doesn't have full
nothing.
vision. But the thing is, you can start scanning and stuff. Like this is.
No, he should be. I
Yeah.
agree. But maybe he should be already at the same time.
Does he need to yet? Like he's just kind of getting his stuff going.
Well,
Once
I mean,
his
he's
stuff
taking
is
his
going,
4th and he's getting a planetary, so it feels like he's on the defense still.
yeah, yeah.
And if you scan,
But-
like, let's say triple Stargate, you probably don't chill on the defense.
But if I think the thing is, you can't. Even if he's going triple Stargate right now, you still have time to scan that and then kill it. I think, right?
Sure.
Because even if he scanned it right now, I think he still gets his 4th up and running and then goes.
Do you think anything changes if he didn't lose so many workers at the beginning of the game?
Well, that's
Because
the
I
thing
feel
that
like we
kills
could
me about
actually
this.
have a big-ass Stargate army
Possibly.
if we didn't lose so many workers at the beginning.
That's what broke my heart so badly about the game, because it's really hard to map out exactly how a game would be different if you don't lose 14 workers at the beginning. But the thing is, he was given a decent amount of time to recover himself as well, and his economy is getting up to the point where he can kind of counter it how he wants.
Right. This is very interesting. Blue flame +1 armor. Even the upgrades feel kind of slow.
Well, there's a reason for that, actually.
What's the reason?
I can't tell you yet.
Okay.
It's too exciting.
Oh. Uh-oh. Is that smart servos?
Yeah, that's not it, though.
Why?
Now, here we go. No, not the Protoss side. Look at that production tab.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he's going to swap all these, isn't he? How many starports do we have? 3?
Dude,
he lost one earlier.
This is so weird, right? So he opens up doing a ton of damage, goes in a mass tank mech, and this is okay. So I'm so confused and kind of excited. Like my heart is going pitter patter. My chest. It's like I'm on my first date as a teenager right now, right? And I'm like, ooh, what is this build? Because look, he's turtling so heavily and so well. You look at this army. We've been talking about how this army seems like it's crappy against this. It's even more crappy if this stuff doesn't move.
That's true.
Right? And he never actually powered his factories.
He's literally maxed, too.
He didn't really power up his facts, though. On this many bases, you would have more than 5 facts, right?
84 workers, too. It feels like this should have pushed out at some point already.
If he was going to. But the thing is, even if you look at the army doesn't even make sense for a push. Look at it. Well, I guess he has
17 tanks?
Yeah,
no,
right?
It does not make any sense for a push.
Yeah, so the whole thing is very weird, but it's like he can never be broken. You cannot break this without air units.
But this just feels bad, to be honest.
What feels bad?
It feels bad for uThermal. Like the way he's playing the game, it just feels like this should be a Cyclone mech game where you're trading, and then you're going into battle because we're literally maxed.
Well,
with 84 workers, which is huge, by the way.
Yeah.
That's enough that you can throw your army away and remax. Like not fully, but like trading is really good at 84 workers. It's just like the right thing to do. That's the worker count where Zergs just like throw Lingbane away.
Yeah.
So they can rebuild it.
Okay.
This mech army feels so clunky that if you ever wanted to move out, this is only good if they attack you. If they don't attack you, what do you even do?
But I think that's the point. I think that's actually the point.
But what Protoss is ever going to attack into 17
No
tanks?
one.
So
what he wants is to not be attacked. Okay?
So how does he, transition? Because he's maxed.
Watch.
Okay. I mean, maybe he's just smarter than me. I'm ready.
It's a weird game. This is why I wanted to go over it, because I was just like,
here we go.
Huh.
It's time. Look at how many tanks this is.
It is so many tanks. Okay, do you see this move, by the way? He gets ready, he scans all the warpins, and look at this. DNS is making Archons.
He knows.
Have you ever heard of a unit against mass siege tanks worse than Archons?
No.
I haven't either.
There's actually nothing. I think
Changelings do
better.
about as much damage. So then he backs up and just completely sieges.
No, this is a good
Right.
position, but I feel like this is a bit on DNS being poorly reading the situation here.
Well, I mean, you look at this army; he just unsieged everything. I would be like, okay, yeah, no, we're going. Okay, it's time.
I mean, if you ever like played a Terran that did this, like I would just be like, I'm never attacking you ever.
Yeah, I would just be making
like
Stargates.
You have to wait until. Yeah, me too. I think this is the right play here is to have 4 Stargates. Like
the thing is, I don't think uThermal's afraid of that.
No, I don't think so either. But I think
because he's making an army. If you like, yeah, you can't attack uThermal. Can we? Let's make some rules here, okay?
Okay.
Because this build is so weird.
He's getting his notepad out, boys.
Okay.
Here we go.
Ready? Rule number one.
Rule number one.
You can't attack uThermal.
Can't attack. I agree.
You can't attack uThermal specifically, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Rule number 2.
Hold on though, right? Because we gotta kind of jump through this from reason to reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can't attack uThermal because his siege tank mass is so ridiculous.
Sure.
Okay. Also, by the way, he has a decent amount of Vikings out.
Yeah, that's not a sky toss killing Viking count, but sure.
No, it's not. You're right. It's not.
Okay,
a sky
I'm ready.
toss
I'm ready.
killing Viking count.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, he knew that Colossus were out, right?
Mm-hmm.
His army, this army is better than that army. We can agree on this, right? So, how would you, in this perfectly he's so well defended everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can hit this. You'd kill a few buildings before he gets up there and defends it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess maybe you could get a Prism in.
Yeah,
but he has a bunch of Vikings, right? So, I mean, is this going to do that much damage?
It's not going to do that much. It'd never be the game-winning move anyways.
Right. Yeah. Despite what everyone in Twitch chat or on Reddit will tell you, it's not. It's not supposed to be the game-ending move. Well, of course you're not supposed to. Shut up. Okay. But look, if you can't attack him, and the thing is, he's getting ready to attack. He scans. He sees the Warpins. He sees the Archons, and then he sits back defensively again because he's looking at this. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're maxed out with this crappy army.
Right.
This army can't attack this." And you know what counters the hell out of this army is BCs as well, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like uThermal was in complete control the entire time.
Yeah, but I think, to speak on this, feels like DNS did the wrong things. Which is where we're getting our rules from. Like, we need to fix our rules up because DNS feels like he's doing the wrong thing. He sees a max Terran army with mostly siege tank sitting here, and he has Archons, right? Which we were just talking about is so terrible against siege tanks. It's 100% looks like he wants to jump on an army that moves out.
Yes, he does.
But uThermal is just adding on infrastructure. If for example, if this game was exactly the same, but instead of uThermal adding on infrastructure, it was DNS adding on infrastructure after having 84 probes. Totally different game, I think. Like, imagine there's 4 Stargates and a fleet beacon on the way, and this base is fully saturated already.
Well, hold on. Okay, so you want him to have more probes, less army?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say that he went down this other route of adding Stargates, more probes, less army. Is there no possibility of uThermal doing an attack?
No, there definitely is. But I think it's better for the army to come to you and then you reactively warp in or do whatever. And you could make the same army later on if you wanted to. I don't think you would. Like, it doesn't feel great to have this many Archons. I think there's just how many Archons
the
is
Immortal
this
count
actually?
is
1,
really
2,
nice.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Archons.
We can hit the unit tab too. We
7
got 7
Archons.
Archons.
My bad. Wait,
it's okay.
one of them's morphing, right? Oh wait, no, one of them's hallucination. What is it? There's 8 here, right?
No, that's 7.
Okay, my mind's.
It's okay. Counting's hard. But like it feels to me that it's hard.
That's 8. I'm not crazy, am I?
That is 8. Where did you find that?
I was like, I can't be crazy.
Oh, he's morphing 2? Hold on, maybe there's 9 then. There is 9.
Okay.
Wow! There's 9 Archons. Anyways.
Okay.
I feel like uThermal is truly dictating the game the entire time.
Agreed.
He makes himself completely unattackable. He's getting lots of upgrades. He's getting lots of bases. Like, this is a very quick 4 bases with full saturation everywhere. And then he starts powering up into, his other units here. And if you put yourself in a situation where you're building an army that scales pretty well, right? Like, siege tanks scale pretty well as their numbers go up. They get stronger and stronger.
You keep talking. I'm just looking.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think this out while I say it. It's like it's hard for me to put my words into thoughts exactly, but if you are building an army that scales well and you're unattackable and you're getting the biggest economy you can get, no one goes over like 85-ish probes. Like the most SCVs, rather. The most SCVs I've ever seen was like 87 in a game from TY. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like that. This is basically the upper limits.
Right.
Occasionally you'll see a Zerg pop at 90 or something.
Zergs can do it though. It's different.
Yeah,
It's totally different.
Yeah, it is because they have better static D and stuff like that. But just think about it for a second, right?
I'm thinking DNS did the wrong things though. That's
Well,
one
he
thing.
certainly
Also,
did. Look,
I think
everyone
at
makes
this
mistakes
point-
every game.
This point here, like
Yeah.
when these Hellions die and they see no gases here, you already know he's coming for an attack, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, he can't just sit here and be like, you know what? Like, what are you gonna do? I think this is this. Oh, okay. I don't think uThermal did anything wrong. I just think that DNS was kind of shoehorned into this position because of his economy being terrible from the beginning.
That's definitely like a somewhat reasonable thing that you're saying.
Like even here, he has full vision of this army before he scans because of the center towers. It just feels bad. This just feels.
Sure.
Look at it. He's killing his own hell.
I
Hellbats.
love it. I love it.
He doesn't even care. Okay, here we go.
Oh my God, this was never going to work.
Ever. I think a couple tanks have died.
No.
One tank has died at least.
No.
It's 16. I saw 17 before.
He probably killed it himself for
It's
supply.
possible. He could have killed it himself. You're right.
That was the most cost-inefficient thing I've ever seen. The thing is, DNS did set himself up to try to crush a mech push, But,
Yeah, but
if you realize that your opponent is setting up to crush a mech push, is this not the absolute greatest way you could play?
Yeah. Or from DNS, you mean?
No, from uThermal.
Yeah, it is.
If you make it so that, like, if they attack you, they're throwing away the game, and if they don't, they've made a terrible
I mean,
army.
look at this.
I know!
Of course this is perfect, because he can just he's literally trading out his worst army for battlecruisers, which are just even better against what's going on. Like, at this point, it just feels like
It's a
DNS has
weird
played
game.
DNS, though.
Okay. Well, let's
I agree. If we were in a different game and DNS wasn't like I literally shoehorned into this by the feel of his economy in the beginning. Okay, look at that. Should have happened like 5 minutes ago. Okay, literally 5 minutes ago.
Generally agree. It's
But I think he was just gonna go for it, and he didn't really react to what was going on.
By the way, DNS uses the best Prism skin. It's so obvious.
What is this?
It's the best Prism skin. I don't know the name of it, but it's beautiful.
Sure. I agree.
Look at that. Unattackable.
And his harass his battlecruisers, wherever that battlecruiser went. Yeah, I mean, at this point, like 27 workers died. I mean, it just feels like uThermal has the best of everything here.
Yeah.
His economy's better, his army composition's better, like, his position's better.
No, well, at this point, everything has gone wrong like 3 times
And he
for
even
DNS.
has a better bank.
I just wish that all the probes hadn't died right at the beginning.
I agree. Double Stargate Fleet Beacon is here, but it's, 14 minutes.
Yeah, his upgrades are going to be way behind here as well.
Yeah.
And it's already a little bit tricky to fight against
I think the
BCs
game's
with
already
Sky
over at this
Toss.
point. We could probably just end the replay. Because
Yeah,
it just feels like at this point, we're just coming back from a position we should never have been in. I think this would have been way more exciting for me if it wasn't DNS just being really far behind, like you said. In the
Yeah,
beginning.
that's the problem. But I still felt that the choice of how uThermal executed his play, the fact that he went mass siege tanks, ended up not moving out and then into BCs.
I'm just curious if he would move out, depending on what he scouts. Like, let's say instead of scouting all those Archons and all those Colossi, he scouts 20 Blink Stalkers and a couple Disruptors, and he's like, where's all your gas? Right? Or something along those lines. Doesn't have to be that army composition. What if it's Charge Lot Immortal or just some army composition that clearly there's gas not accounted for? If you're just like, okay, I'm going because I know you've got a bunch of Stargates or something along that line. Like, the question is, does he just sit there still and he's like, well, I'm just going to wait for you to attack me still?
No, I think if you do see them, like, okay, so Stargates do, if you're going Stargates, you have more probes and less army on 2 fronts because you have more probes and you have Stargates building stuff, right? And then the Stargates, you need a certain amount of Stargate units before they actually have power. Like, nothing's worse than 1 carrier.
I agree. He's
so
doing
I think
packs here or what?
It's
or
not
no.
exactly. It's just
different,
proxy
yeah.
gate.
Oh yeah, this is just normal. Gate, cyber gate.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the game exactly. I find that
I don't feel
incredibly
like
interesting because
uThermal
I've never seen anything like it.
It felt like uThermal wasn't playing as strategically as he normally does, to be fair. Like, he had a huge edge that he didn't capitalize on at all.
Well,
he went into mech, which was fine, but at the same time, he never moved out, which was fine as well. It just felt like he never capitalized on the initial advantage. I don't know if he was going to push him with a big mech army if DNS tried to build probes.
Did he not guarantee himself a tech advantage throughout the entire game? Because I
kind of did.
I agree that the easiest way to win games like that after you kill that many probes or drones or SCVs would be like a bio-based push where you just keep that pressure on. There are things that can go wrong with those, though, right? There are situations where like the splash hits you just right or something like that, and but in this game, like, there was never a moment where he could be attacked. He guaranteed himself a tech advantage for the entire game. He always had a better composition than his opponent. So, while these aren't the normal ways that we look at people finishing games, is there anything actually wrong with utilizing those advantages to take the game?
I just feel like you give your opponent more leeway, more ability to come back than if you had just pounced on him with a bio-timing that's way bigger army, way better upgrades or something like that.
I think generally speaking what you're saying is right, that you're making the game longer, so there's more room for maneuvering.
There's more room to make mistakes too.
The way that uThermal did it, I feel like there's not as much room for maneuvering in some ways because he's nailing like 4 bases, perfect SCVs, perfect defense into the next tech.
Right.
So I don't know that there is, because you have to prepare. If he pushes and you're not ready, you're dead. So you kind of have to make a tank-busting army, and that's what DNS did, and then DNS felt like he had to attack in.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Okay, here's a question to you on a side note. Do you think that that army is killable?
every army's
like,
killable.
I mean, like, not just like killable, but like crushable almost.
In the position he was sitting in with a ground army, no?
We're not. There's no way that we're okay. Let's say that we know from the very beginning of the game, after all those probes die, we're like, he's gonna make like 20 tanks.
Yeah.
We know it right off the bat. Do you think DNS can muster up an army that can kill that, crush it even, while going any Stargate stuff behind it?
I think if you know what he's going to do throughout the game, yeah, you can probably.
Because I actually feel like DNS could have scouted this way better. He could have scouted the 3 tech labs. He could have scouted, even at the point where there was 7 or 8 tanks, I think you're already like, okay, that's not Cyclone Mech. 7 or 8 tanks, too many tanks already. That's already going to be clunky.
A few mechers that go like a big group of tanks and then
Cyclone
battle
Mech.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think whatever can deal with 8 or 9 tanks could probably deal with Cyclone Mech to some extent.
Yeah.
Because it's such a huge investment already. And who knows if it continues or doesn't. My point originally is, I feel like that is not, impossible. I feel like we can counter it, and I feel like DNS didn't take the right steps to do it. I think DNS felt like he was in a worse position. He felt like he had to not cut certain corners because of the bio push, for example. Like, you see a pretty quick Colossus. That kind of stuff is all what you need to do to not just die to one of those bio pushes we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And if he could just cut all that out, I think he'd be a million times further ahead, or at least even with.
Yeah. Well, that's my
uThermal.
general feeling as well. It's just that I feel like the way that uThermal looked at it, we can't call wrong. I don't understand it completely, but there's something about it that resonates with me. How he kept a step ahead on units. I used to try to play StarCraft like this a little bit, where it's like I wouldn't finish someone off sharply, but instead get further ahead. Be like, okay, and now you have all these units, and I have units that crush that, and I have the next step in tech now, which would be BCs in this case. But yeah, it was.
Void Rays need a serious buff IMO. I just wanted to read that comment out loud.
They do. It's so true.
All right, let's continue. I think these are all interesting thoughts. I don't think either side here is correct or incorrect.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I think DNS definitely made the wrong decision, though. I don't think anybody will argue. I don't think DNS would argue that.
No, it wasn't perfectly played. We know that. Okay, so this game, I mean, it's got a proxy gate in it, but I was watching this, just crossing my fingers it'd be the same build. It's not. But it's basically Innovation's build for TVP, and he simply walks across the map and kills DNS with the very first push.
Okay,
so I found that interesting. So I thought maybe we could take a look at it and try to figure out where did this go wrong for DNS.
Do you think there's going to be a Stargate? Okay, no.
No. Yeah, I know. It's a really, really standard game. It surprised me when the very first push just killed him. And I was like,
sometimes we see these like adept things coupled with oracles, and they're so good. Like I think we saw Classic do it, where he like attacked with like 5 oracles and or 3 oracles and like 7 adepts, or was that? That was actually Showtime versus Clem. We saw it too.
Yes,
it just looks really strong.
And that was on New Repugnancy even. Yeah.
Okay, Blink. I'm interested. He's piqued my interest now. Blink.
I love, by the way, that every DNS PVT, he makes that wall in time for Hellions.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, DNS. Good. Because the people who don't make that wall and then lose all their probes, I'm like, you didn't even scout for it.
Yeah.
You deserve to lose all your probes.
I was debating this a lot when I started playing Protoss, because I was like, I don't know if I would rather just lose this when they tank push me or try to reactively build the wall, Like, I would just rush out a hallucination as fast as possible to see if I could reactively build my 2 gates, but they're always 2 behind.
Yeah.
So I settled on just building them, and that felt better.
Oh, you actually got a lot of probes there. 7 probes. Damn.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
This is pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Honestly, I'd take 7 probes killing a Banshee and 4 SCVs on the encounter. Probably even-ish. We're getting there.
Yeah, it feels about.
Is it 44 to 45? It's not perfect, but honestly, it's making the best of a bad position. This feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Nice play.
Yeah, see, it feels like both sides are playing pretty well here.
Double 4, just a bit scary. If we haven't seen okay, we have. Never mind.
No, this is like exactly the build that Innovation uses. I'm pretty sure, right?
4
Look, yeah, he's
mines.
got 2 tanks. He's just sitting there on 3 racks, making a lot of mines, and he's going to go with the +1 stim.
This reminds me of
Very, very standard.
Clem as well. When we watched Clem versus.
Oh yeah, he was doing something similar as well. But look at this. See this attack moving out? It's just going to kill him.
121 supply. Upgrades are too late. Just a little bit. If these finish in time, then maybe. What do we got? No. Where's, like, what was the, okay, never mind.
Maybe you should have force fielded there.
Yeah, he kind of lets it get into a position too fast. He has full vision of this, too.
Yeah, the observer followed it like the whole way, and the stalkers saw it coming.
This just feels like no prevention here. How many tanks is this? Is it
It's
1?
2.
Oh, 2.
Or maybe he left one at home. I don't see it.
Okay, 1 tank, maybe it's not that bad to let it get into position. But at the same time, we're just kind of like making this not force fieldable anymore. You know, like this is a huge space to force field versus
Totally.
like this here. And also you buy time for ups. I think you need to buy time for ups because they're so close. Now we can't really do it anymore because we're going to lose 2 gateways. He's sitting in the middle of our production between our 2 bases. He can split off a bio force over here. It's just like, feels way worse.
Oh, I love that uThermal's trying so hard to force it right here.
Yeah, this kind of feels a bit bad on DNS's part, like impatient almost. But at the same time, what can you do once he's in this position?
Yeah. Good targeting. I love the targeting we saw there. Focus down a couple mortals. But just not enough.
Yeah, this kind of feels bad on DNS's part, though, again. Like, he just kind of went for it. There was no timing with it. There wasn't, like the only timing is, like...
It was his initial proxy gate at depth pressure that bad? And it seemed like his... I mean, yeah, he lost 7 probes to the Banshee, but he killed some SCVs. He did some harassment with his stalkers on this side of the map.
Do you think...
It felt like slightly better for uThermal.
Do you think he could buy enough time for this upgrade to finish? Like, how long has it even been since this push began?
I'm sure he must have missed Chronos in here, right? Like, he must have missed some Chronos in here at some point.
It just feels like when he did attack, there was no timing with the attack. You know, it wasn't like his upgrades were finishing. It wasn't like an Immortal popped out and he's like, all right, it's time to go. It just kind of was like, let's go. You know what I mean?
Wait, with DNS?
DNS.
Oh, I think uThermal forced it because he was microing down in this direction right here.
Sure.
And he was really putting the pressure on. He was about to start hitting these 2 gates, right? And like you said, he could have split some force up here. So it's not like you can run your army down here.
It just feels like DNS didn't prevent it. He had no prevention of this push.
Yeah, his stalkers kind of came into the side. Oh, let's put that up. Or no, that's too far back. Okay, so here. Let's take a look.
Follow his camera.
You're such a camera follower.
DNS's, yeah. Why, you don't like following cameras?
No, I don't.
Why?
Well, I'm getting used to it because it's like your favorite thing in the whole world. But
why, you don't like it though? Why?
Because I want to look at what I'm looking at.
Yeah, but isn't what the player looking at kind of important sometimes?
What's important is what Artos is looking at.
You don't want to know what he's prioritizing?
Okay, so he just did the chrono on the +1 armor. Okay, so here goes up the observer. Right? We're still following his vision.
He's doing a good job. Like, this stalker sitting here is good.
Yeah, yeah.
He basically is in a good spot in case, like, Medevac's just kind of ninja out, you know? Like, he's in a good spot for most things.
Yeah, here comes the army's starting to walk out.
Nice Chronos. Like, he's sticking out on Chrono a lot.
Yeah. Comes up at the side. This is nice. That's really good.
Yeah.
Look at that. That was sick.
Yeah, so far it feels like he's doing all the right things.
Okay, so he walks down here. Okay. Another volley. Observer sees the army going. He sees it going. Okay.
He's literally watching
100%. Warped in units. Okay, I think this might have been the moment that this didn't slow down the main army. He came to get reinforcements,
Do you think he was going for the gamble? Like maybe he pulls back.
If he pulls back here, then DNS is in a good spot.
Yeah. So do you think DNS is going for that gamble? Like maybe
He might have been. I mean, either way, this is not a terrible move, I think.
Mm.
But his upgrades are far enough out. Look at that. He's got to buy 60 seconds.
If the stalkers were here and he just kept doing the thing.
Yeah, when he turned around, he could have hit right here.
Mm.
And then the army 100%
Has to respect
plays
it.
with them here.
Yeah,
and like pushes them back. And that's going to buy you more time than this. Unless he turns around.
I think the 3 force fields are the most important thing too.
Yeah, see, so he's picking off a couple units.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't
And
get
now he's
anything
like,
there.
right now he should be chasing this army.
Yeah, see, this is just sitting there. So this is actually becoming really painful.
Also, this army sitting where it is really weird. Like it's behind the wall.
Oh, you know what? It was down here,
It
so he
should
probably
be-
just right-clicked and
It should just be
misclicked.
better in a better spot.
Yeah, yeah. He needs to be ready to force field wherever the hell it's going to come
How many buildings does he have? Oh, not that one. Which one is it?
D, T, T.
6 gates? Yeah. I think we just buy as much time. We have to wait for +1/+1. I think that's the only time you actually deal with this.
I think you're right about that.
Okay. All right. I think we've seen enough here. Right?
Yeah, yeah. Kind of a... I thought that was a little bit interesting, though.
Yeah, it was.
It kind of shows the power of stalling, what you need to do.
Especially if you
that
have
was still
ups.
going to be hard to stall for that long. That was still, like, this is not a foolproof situation for DNS. But, yeah, he needed to focus more heavily upon stalling that, maybe warp in even more sentries for more force fields to slow him down. The thing is, even if you slow him at your natural ramp, he might walk around and attack your third, and that's going to...
But that's still enough time, right? Like that's
It
time.
buys more
That's
time.
a lot of time.
Yeah, and then your Nexus has a certain amount of health that you have to play with there. Does he go after probes some? That's actually going to buy you some more time as well. But the Stalkers were a little bit late joining up also.
Yeah, this series felt a little bit sloppy from DNS.
Well, the first game was a tough one, I think.
It was.
That's a
But there's got to be a prevention on not losing, like, how many workers,
14 probes
to
at the beginning.
a Hellion drop.
Certainly. That's a fair point. Here, let me bring up the actual bracket so you can see. Here, put that right there. Okay, so we got all these awesome TVPs to look at from Group B.
Terran not doing too bad, some of these.
No, yeah, they're doing fine. Doing just fine. Mana is not a bad PvT player either.
It's interesting, Marine Lord was down 1-0 versus Hero Marine and then 2-0'd him in the response. Like, Hero Marine should be a really solid, rock.
Why don't we jump into Marine Lord versus Showtime?
Sounds
That
good.
looks like a good series.
Yeah. Okay. Acropolis is
Alright.
first map.
Marine Lord shows. Oh, I already renamed him, bro.
Oh, okay, nice.
Look at that. Tosa's doing his job. All right, so this one will be Showtime versus Marine Lord from Group B of WCS Challenger.
Okay.
So kind of a focus on Marine Lord here, taking a look at what he wants to do. Obviously, Showtime ends up winning this group, but Marine Lord does take a game.
Yeah. Already one side note is like the pylon positioning I really like here.
Why do you like that?
Because you can build your cyber or whatever over here. This doesn't really feel like... once this is walled off, there's actually like nothing that's scary.
The only thing that I liked about this pylon positioning is that it gives you room for your gateway explosion, because there's a few pylons that you place in certain areas, so you can get like a shield battery in the right place, maybe a wall at your natural and stuff. And then sometimes when you're trying to add your gates, it can be a little bit flimsy.
Yeah,
So I felt like
It's
it was
just a
okay
nice
for
pylon.
that. Yeah, it feels slightly on the
If you're
side,
not going to
but-
wall off, it doesn't really matter here, right? If you're not walling here, building it so that you can build any building over here is nice, right? Unless long as it's not just that
Sure,
pylon.
sure.
Gives you decent vision in your base. Like,
No, I
look at
got
his
you.
vision. His vision's pretty good. Like you said, he's got lots of room for building his buildings. It just feels good.
Why do you think he doesn't put anything there?
I don't know. Maybe he's baiting it a bit. Well, is that a hard wall? That's pretty cool. I like that a lot.
Well,
Protosses never do stuff like this.
Yeah, no, Showtime is another level, man.
This is really cool. Like, I would love to see this more, because really, what's the cost of, like, I've played so many games where my Stalker gets bounced out by a Reaper, Hellions are my
yes!
base, I lose.
There's nothing worse than when the
Yeah.
grenade comes down and you're like, I'm stupid and bad. And then the
it's like such
Hellions
an
run and kill
easily
everything.
preventable thing, and you're like, I guess
Yeah.
I just lose the game. So, like, just walling off and being like, you know what, I'm going to lose 150 minerals at some point, but who cares?
The thing is, he doesn't even.
Yeah, he's just going to cancel
Yeah,
it,
he's
which
just,
is fine.
it's like the shield battery, right? It's I love it. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, he should more Protosses should do this.
Absolutely agree on that.
Look at that. He just like it does nothing. And even well, that was a bit unfortunate, but even, once he cancels it, the stalkers can sit here. This is still a wall. So
Yeah.
I like this pylon. This is
No,
really
it's-
just he's clearly thought about his wall a lot.
And you should.
Yeah.
You should. Okay, so something I found kind of interesting here. Look at how heavy he is on factory units this game. It kind of reminds me of Maru a little bit, right? How he's playing. It's like not really that many bio units, but getting immediately into, the two Hellions are kind of threatening. They force a certain type of play from your... Are you tired, buddy?
No, I'm ready.
You bored? You bored?
No.
But yeah, just going into like the mass mines and drops, kind of a cool style.
This does feel like it was a little bit out of the blue for Showtime. Like I don't.
Well, normally when you see two Hellions, like two more are going to come, and so yeah, maybe he's caught off guard a little bit.
Let's see how this goes.
Good split there.
One stalker dying. These sneaky Hellions. Wow, only gets one probe with the Hellion so far? Two? Okay, this might get a lot. Yeah. He actually got a lot more than I thought he was. That was almost really cool, though. This is a lot like Mario, actually.
Right?
Just relentless mines.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Did anybody do this before Mario?
No.
That's cool.
Actually, no. Yeah, he was... I remember the first time we saw the endless mine drops was on that...
Year zero.
No. Way before that.
Before that?
He did it against... I can't remember the name of it. It was a 4-player map which had the path behind and like high base, three bases on high ground, kind of. What map was that? But he did it against Myungshik when Myungshik was going Phoenix Colossus.
Okay, so
And
like
he
a
did
long time
he did
ago.
like 24 mines in a row or something. It was insane, just non-stop, and almost all
Was
of
this
them
Heart of the
failed.
Swarm?
Yeah,
Nice.
Maru's been using stuff like that a long time. Because he has to block the mines from running out. I love it. Oh, I love it.
Oh, he's good. Watching Showtime play is just like, it's such a treat.
But
It just feels
Yeah.
like simple small mistakes would stop him from being like one of the best players. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, no. Well, his
Like,
style
because
as
his
well.
execution is so good. His decision making and his like strategical thinking is amazing.
Yeah.
But then it just feels like some small things happen that shouldn't happen.
Oh.
He's like
okay, I
plagued
see
by
what
a
you're
series
saying.
of unfortunate events in every game I watch him. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. You know what? That makes sense. Let's just talk about that for one second because I like what you're saying here.
Sure.
I think that has to be the way that it is because his play style is so solid that if there aren't a bunch of small things that go wrong, you're not going to beat him because he's like stats in that way. Right?
Yeah.
You need a bunch of small things to just be fucked up for him to lose because he's so solid.
Does
in
it
every
feel
way.
like Stats is not plagued by as many series of unfortunate
when
events?
Stats loses, a lot of times I'm
It's
like,
just
what
like
are
a
you
snap.
doing?
Yeah, lost though. But this
Yes.
doesn't really happen with Showtime. It feels we don't just see like a snap the fingers, the game's over.
I watch a lot more Stats games, so I don't feel like I can speak to it as much for Showtime
Yeah,
losses. But
it's
I
hard
know-
to say because he's
I know
also
what you mean.
usually playing against not subpar players, but they play differently. Europeans just play differently than
Yeah.
Koreans. A lot of Koreans are just like go for the throat. And the game
Yeah,
ends.
they take a very decisive stance.
Whereas the
and-
Terrans are like, or even any race is just kind of like taking small chunks out of
Yeah.
the Protoss. It's interesting to think about because Showtime is by far the most stats-like foreigner out of everybody, even way more than Neeb, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's much closer stylistically, in my opinion, to Stats.
But yeah, when I watch him lose, like I said, it feels like a plague of multiple unfortunate events in a row. And when I watch him win, he just looks dominant.
Yeah.
It's just like a
Yeah.
sweep, right? Like everything gets shut down one after another. His decision making is on point. His harass is like perfectly timed. His army composition is always like so well thought out for whatever's coming towards him.
Yeah.
So it's extremely interesting. I feel like if he focuses on what those little things are that get him and like is able to deal with everything. The thing is there's so many different things that get you. Like for example, a medevac flying in here.
some weird side drop
yeah,
that you're not
like
expecting.
not over here.
It's such a
like,
funny angle. No bases actually have expands that look like this anyway with the
Right.
the exit at the bottom when your main's like nothing actually looks
And
like
this
that.
is kind of what happens with him for everything, you know? Like it's just like this weird thing. You're like, well, it actually must be so frustrating to be Showtime sometimes, I imagine. You're just like
sure.
prepare so hard and then just like something comes out that you're like, what?
I think well, to be fair, I think that's everybody, right?
Sure. But I guess the people that do it are less likely to have this problem. You know, for example, uThermal is probably not worrying about stuff flying into his base or that kind of
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
You know,
where there's like one tiny hole or something like this.
this is
Well,
like
it's
a
impossible
Showtime
to.
specific thing. It feels like.
It's impossible to defend absolutely everything, right?
Right.
So there needs to be holes like that can be exploited, or he would never lose.
Yeah. So it feels like Showtime is trying to build towards that never loss
Yeah, it
place,
does. It feels like he's trying to play perfect.
which is cool. Because
There's
a lot of
few
people,
players that I get like that. Like I always, whenever I see sort of games, I feel like he tries to play like that a lot of the time. Where he's like,
yeah,
I
sort
want
of
to be
does.
perfect.
You're right. But he also falters to the same thing, right? Those like little things that get him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was Idra's style 100% through and through as well. Where
You think that's a fault of like playing? Do you think
I
that that's
think
a
that
problem?
striving to be a perfect player, uh, it has its uses because it's generally going to make you better defensively and better mechanically than everyone else. But at the same time, you have to realize that mistakes are made, and you should be counting on mistakes from your opponent at some points, and you should be counting on mistakes from yourself.
Do you think Cyril is a good example of someone doing this?
No,
You don't think he is?
I have to think about that answer more, but like it immediately jumped to my mind that no, that's not the case. It's more like
I see where you're going with it, though.
Cyril.
Cyril likes to dictate the pace of the game, right? In a different way than, for example, Showtime doesn't necessarily dictate the pace of the game until later on, where he's kind of like, I'm just going to take every blow.
Now I have all this stuff.
Exactly. And same with Sort of. Sort of doesn't go for like a timing and then play from the back foot of that. He's more like, what are you going to do to me? And I'm going to be out ahead versus that.
Yeah.
Showtime, or Cyril, kind of feels like he can do both, but he's really dominant when he's dictating the pace of the game because he's doing everything. He's got run bys going on.
Yeah.
He has full vision of your army. He's got his economy going up. He's got his creep going in. You know what I mean? Like, he's not necessarily just sitting there waiting for you. He's doing both.
It feels like he is like a level above almost everyone
Yeah.
else in the world.
Besides, like, possibly some Koreans in certain matchups. Like, for example,
I would say Maru is the only player that really jumps in my mind as really being the same type of level.
I agree.
Stats generally, maybe not this year, but in general.
Stats is also different. It's interesting because Stats and Cyril have a very interesting matchup. And I don't even think, like, when we, what was it, GSL versus the World, it was a 3-4?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's impressive. Like, that is really impressive.
Yeah.
One second, I'm going to get a water.
No, there's waters right there. Oh. Go ahead. Help yourself. All right, Jake's gone. Spam the chat. But, anyways, it's an interesting thing to kind of talk about these styles and what's right and what's wrong with them. But yeah,
What do
if
you
you're not doing percentage plays sometimes and things like that, I think it's always a
Do
mistake.
you think this is the percentually the best way to play StarCraft 2? Because this is a really complicated question.
Okay.
And I don't think there's a wrong or right answer.
No, it's true. I think that this should be a higher percentage default playing like this for practice games. Because this is going to improve the most things that you do the most, in my opinion, is playing this type of play where you're trying to be perfect, you're trying to do everything and stop everything. I think in the long term it's going to give you a higher level understanding of most things, but everything needs to be rotated. StarCraft is an incomplete information game, so there actually needs to be risks taken. And if you are trying to always play perfect, that in and of itself is imperfect. And that in and of itself is something that is more highly abusable than a lot of things, because if you get someone who has maybe not the same peak as you in those standard macro-ish type of games, yeah, they don't have that same peak, but they know the good percentage plays to take against builds like that, that's going to be the player that just kills you.
Do you think Alpha Star, for example, would play more like Showtime or more like Haas? Not to the extremes, don't get me wrong. But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Do you think he will be the one to take the fights to you, or do you think he'll be the one to react to everything he's scouting and seeing and that kind of stuff?
I think it's tough because you can't get Alpha Star exactly on human levels because, like, for instance, if the micro's good enough, you should be aggressive. If the intelligence is good enough, maybe you should be defensive.
Like Alpha Star, I'm trying to be like above human level to some extent. For example, like Alpha Star could scan a base and count the probes and be like, okay, I know exactly what it is. You know what I mean? Or that kind of level. He could see.
But mind games start there as well.
Totally true. Totally true. But if he's, you know, who we say he is, and he's got thousands and thousands and thousands of games per day or whatever it is, he can play like infinite amount of games. then you could calculate what percentage those are and go for it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I'm curious if it benefits him to sit back and just counter everything perfectly, or if it benefits him to go for the throat every time, assuming that we limit the blink, because blink that stuff that we saw was
Yeah.
just not
Well,
the same.
I think it's becomes complicated because you're always going to have it playing at something is going to be better than what humans do. But
I'm
I
just
think that
wondering if
I
it-
think that the actual best way to play
Mm.
is this is barely your default in tournament play. Like
Mm.
this is something that comes up in tournament play, but you are actually all over the place, almost random. Like I think that if you could play all of your different strategies to the same level,
But
and
that's hard, right?
no, I know it's super tough, but if you sometimes bust out the stupidest cheese in the world, but then other times you play like this, there's nothing more dangerous than that.
I think the
It's
problem
just
with
it's
that
stupid.
is when your practice is divided amongst those different things, that all of it seems to be brought down, right?
That does seem to be the case.
It
but
could I could be
yeah,
wrong,
yeah.
but I think in the long run, let's say you have, let's say Showtime is like, you know what, I'm going to take a step back from this macro thing. I'm going to take Haas's replay pack and just Haas it up.
Yeah.
And then his macro, let's say it takes a month.
Mm-hmm.
It probably won't take that long. Let's say 3 weeks. If his macro level comes down even a little bit
Yeah.
from where it was so that his other stuff can come up, then he's already not where he was, right? Like he could be better in different aspects.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the long run it's probably better. But as we go further and further away, it's possible that his macro comes to lower and lower and lower. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, but I think that
Do
you
you-
you definitely now there's two questions. Theoretically, which one would be better, and realistically, which one? And I know the answer to realistically is mixing in those Haas plays is going to make you much more dangerous, much more unpredictable. Theoretically, though, it's like, well, if this technically has the highest win percentage, maybe this would be best to play at 100% of your skill at this, and then very
But
low percent of your skill at the
If
other ones. Maybe.
if it's not Haas doing those builds, are they even good?
Yeah, no, they're better.
No, I mean, if
Yeah.
if it's not Haas level execution, do these builds kill people? Like, because some of these
Well, yeah,
builds you
gotta
look
get
at,
to that
they're
level.
they're so bad.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They're like something you'd never lose to. But when it's Haas, it's just like he's just doing shit
Well,
with things that should never.
He knows that they can work. The thing is, I guarantee you, if Showtime plays his game, and then one game in a best of 5, and you don't know which one it's going to be, he plays like Haas. He's winning that game almost every time.
if he does it like Haas though,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has to do it like Haas, which
yeah.
means he needs to put in a lot of practice.
Very true.
These aren't things that, for example, I don't think anybody could theoretically cannon rush like Printf could. Like I don't care who you are. I don't
You
think
can
Showtime
learn these
could.
things. Everything's learnable.
You could. But like, let's say we shut Showtime down and like, hey, cannon rush like Printf here. He can't do it. He needs to practice it
He'd have to
tremendously.
spend time. And the thing is, I think that overall, I'm actually really interested in the way that the Europeans practice. Eventually, I'm going to have to sit down with a bunch of them and ask them a bunch of questions about it because I want to learn. But I think overall, everyone practices very poorly. And I think that they don't use the right amount of times for everything. Like, I think that you can keep this style up to par by playing it 40% of the time during the day. You know?
Yeah.
If you're playing, let's say that you play 10 hours, just to make it even numbers, okay? I'm not even saying you should play 10 hours. But if you do 4 hours of this type of play, and then you do 2 hours of replay analysis, and you do 2 hours of studying VODs, and you do 2 hours of practicing cheese and stuff like that, I think already we're starting to come up with something that is probably superior than playing ladder all day and then playing some customs with your own style.
I agree. I think that comes down to actual just mismanagement of time. The only thing is everybody comes up with what they find reasonable or enjoyable, and everybody, as I've had experiences of everybody across the spectrum come to the house. Like I'm in the unique position to actually see practice on their firsthand. Literally everybody has a different schedule.
Yeah.
Not one person comes in and is identical to another person. They're just totally different. Some people benefit from practicing a ton, and some people literally play none, like Scarlett. Like, it just depends on who you are. Not literally none, by the way. She has, like, peaks of, like, I think, inspiration, where she comes up. I think the problem with her is she'll get burnt out if she plays straight through. Whereas someone like Special just doesn't burn out. He just plays straight through everything. He whines about things, and he just plays. You know what I mean? He'll lose to something, he queues up another game.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what it would look like if someone had a schedule, because nobody has structure.
Yeah.
which is one thing to note. Not a single person has come in and like, I practice this much this day. This is my replay analysis section. This is my off race or whatever section or, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Not a single person has done that.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think it's really hard. I mean, again, I bring this up a lot whenever we're talking about subjects like this, whether it's here or on GSL or on the Pylon Show or whatever, where that's like one of my big things that I'm interested in personally right now, is things like training, how to improve better, quicker, things like that. But yeah, like I think that it's hard to make the right schedule, and it's hard to figure this out, and everyone's kind of on their own to do it. And before people point out things like, oh, there's Jin Air Green Wings, like the Korean teams generally are a little
They
bit...
used to be way harder than they are now too, though.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think how they used to do it was wrong too, by far. It's like there's certainly better ways than how everything's being done. And
I'm just wondering what it looks like. For example, when we work real jobs in the real world, we don't dictate our hours. We don't dictate what we do. Like for a lot of the time, you do what your boss says. You wake up at a certain time, you clock in, you do your work, you leave. I'm wondering if we were structured more appropriately for a professional job. Let's say we all had an employer, like kind of like the pro games KESPA team. The problem with KESPA teams is nobody worked 14 hours a day in the real world.
Yeah.
Like that was just insane, right?
Yeah.
If they found a better balance of like structure and like you have to do it, it's your job. I'm wondering how much our skill levels would be propelled forward. Because I think a lot of the problem is everybody is self-accountable, right? Which means in theory, if you miss a day, the only person accountable is you.
Yeah.
But if you miss a day and you're at work, you are, liable to get fired possibly.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of consequences to it. And when we do this like multiple times, we skip an hour here, skip a day
Small
here.
erosions of skill.
Exactly.
Well, the thing is, it's not even an erosion of skill because you're still playing more than enough, but it's an erosion of potential.
Compared to everybody else, too.
It's not measurable, right? You can't measure what your potential would be if you were practicing correctly and on schedule and on time because no one even knows what those things necessarily are.
Right. Let's say we're the bosses of Esports Corp. And we have all of our employees sitting down here. And that's just everybody, all the pro gamers. What does our schedule look like for them?
Well, I think for me personally, because I do think about this type of thing quite a bit, because I still try to be in good shape at RTS games really hard, and I have limited time. But it has been my experience that at 3 hours of hard practice a day, and you're not looking at social media in between, and you might jump into the replay and go through it real quick. At those levels, 3 to 4 hours is enough to improve very steadily.
Mechanically.
At a high level, mechanically, strategically, everything. 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
I think that, obviously things like exercise and healthy eating and trying to make sure that your mind has time to reset and to absorb everything is important. And the thing is, I feel like a stretch of about 3 hours from everything I've read in my own watching myself, around 3 hours, if you are actually putting in brain energy, you're going to start to really fall off. So I think that you're going to probably split up your time.
Okay, so let's start it. We wake up at what time do you think?
Well, that's
go
tricky
really
because there's a
deep.
ladder, right? Because so
Or pretend the ladder is just infinite. There's infinite
infinite?
opponents. Like we're not going to be like, oh, the ladder wakes up at 11
I mean,
or whatever.
theoretically, you want to wake up early in the morning, go to bed early at night. Like
Right.
you want
So
sunlight.
like maybe wake up 8 a.m.
Sure.
Okay.
7, 8 a.m.
Maybe give them an hour to get ready.
Well,
start
I would
practice at
tell
9.
them go to the gym first and then
So in the
eat
gym
a
in
healthy
the morning.
breakfast.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
interesting. So let's keep
Oh,
going.
absolutely,
So
yeah.
breakfast then gym, or
You want to do physical activity before you use your brain. It's important.
this is cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so we got
Yeah.
breakfast. Do we make the breakfast for them? Like, have we found a spectrum of like efficient meals that we think are best for brain and development and this kind of stuff?
Oh, sure.
We're
yeah.
Esports Corp. We
You
have
don't want
infinite
to.
money
You don't want to be eating a lot of carbohydrates early in the morning.
So
You
we
wanna
give
be
like a
eating
fully
more fats
prepared
and
meal
proteins.
for them.
Yeah.
Then they go to the gym for what, 45 minutes, 30 minutes?
Sure, yeah, something like that.
And
Take
then we
a nice hot shower, maybe.
cool.
Sit in the sauna
So like
for a minute.
maybe 10 o'clock we're starting practice, or 9:30,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
and it's a 4-hour block. You say?
Well, I would actually say like if it's hardcore, they would be in watch maybe 3.
Okay.
3-hour block. and
3-hour block.
Then take some time off and stuff. Eat again. Have another block later on in the night.
We're basically at like 12, and this is our break, and then there's just a meal/break time.
Go do something else. Get your brain cleared
How
out.
long is this break?
I'm not sure. You're putting me quite on the spot here, but
We're
this is my
esports
general
corp,
idea.
man.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because I think
Well, I think it's tricky as well because how experienced is the player? Every player needs their own.
that's another thing. Do we structure it differently for everybody?
Well, you would theoretically want to, but if you wanted to make like an actual training grounds, the thing is, it's tricky. When you're newer, you need to play more because you've seen less, and you can't substitute anything for playing a ridiculous amount of games when you're new.
I'm just curious
you need to play so much that you've seen everything.
I think players would have a huge benefit to have someone like this. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, it has to come from experience. It has to come from knowledge of what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we've been in the game long enough to actually be able to speak on this to some extent. Depending on the player, obviously, like you said, we would change it up.
Yeah.
And I just find it really interesting. If we gone back and we were a Kespo head coach, both of us,
Yeah.
and we had our team, how we would structure it versus, the other teams. Because the other teams were doing unhealthy stuff a lot of the time. It's me still. Sorry.
Okay.
So you think if we had a lower level player, we'd give them more hours?
Well, if you're not already, if you don't already really know what you're doing and already have put in thousands and thousands and thousands of hours, if you haven't seen every set of units fight every set of units multiple times, then you got to be able to just look at something and know what's going to happen. Like, if you don't have that built in, then you don't have the right mental models to be able to play a smaller amount of time.
I think a lot of the people that still remain today are all people that were able to do that, by the way, on their own.
Yeah, well, you can't get good without that.
Like I think a lot of the people retired were the people that were pushed by the coaches. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of the people that fell off after Kespa disbanded were actually people that needed that schedule and that regimen to actually do the game and do their jobs. And it's not that surprising to see them all leave. I'm just curious if we think this is even better or worse than just letting them do their own thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Because it's really complicated. It's really complex. And I think if everybody was just a blank human with no emotions and thoughts.
Someone who wants it is going to get it more likely anyways.
Well, for example,
no matter
I think
what you assign.
If it was me as a player, and I had a job, like I was, worried about getting cut from my Kespa team, I was pinned up against other people, I would have so much more, not desire, but pressure to play, and I think I would do so much better. But right now, for example, I have no real reason to not play more games, but I don't.
Okay, well, I think that is just... The thing is, you love StarCraft and you want to play it and be good and watch it and analyze it and work in it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to be the best player in the world, and that's not a bad thing, right?
Maybe that's...
The people who actually want it are going to be super self-motivated. And that's a huge difference. And the thing is, people are all motivated at different levels. You're happy being Code S level, but, to change from that to the same level as Cyril...
Right.
It's not, and that's not like necessarily a bad thing to not have that level of motivation.
I think for me, like there's a lot of things I could be doing to benefit myself, and I need structure that I'm not giving myself. And I think there's a lot of, if I had that external pressure, that it would actually improve me as a human being. And I don't think this is for everybody, and I definitely see it in a lot of people at the same time, though. So...
Yeah,
it's an interesting thought because I think it has to be approached from every single person individually.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if there would be a system for it, but I certainly think certain people could benefit a lot from structure. But at the same time, certain people could benefit a lot from being able to just do their own thing.
Yeah. People are different, man.
All right, we can continue with what we're doing.
Well, that was an interesting, slightly off topic. Here comes the drop, by the way, from Marine Lord. Very interesting style, to the third. Right there.
Okay, it's like he spins a wheel, and he's like, which area am I coming from now?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. Yeah. Randomization is such an important part of RTS.
I agree.
Nice.
Yeah. This is nice. Game Time 301 is hosting us for 93 viewers. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. What is going on?
I don't know.
I've never been this popular in my entire life.
It's because you're on my channel.
You're right. That's it. 60 workers to 51. Even with all this damage being done, it doesn't feel like showtime's being limited very much. I really like the gateway explosion, by the way. A lot of people would be like, I need my forges, I need my robo bay, I'm not going to build that many gates, right? But the gateway explosion feels really good knowing what's been going on this game.
Why? Do you think he's supposed to get aggressive at this point?
No. Well, possibly. I think that there's two...
What has he seen? I just want to see real quick. Oops, sorry. Yeah, he's seen everything.
Yeah. There's a third base, and we know he's been basically reactoring out Widow Mines the entire part of the game. Either we have the option of being aggressive, or we have the option to crush an army that's coming towards us.
Yeah.
And he's got his upgrades, right?
Mhm.
His 1/1 is on the way. What better way to crush an army than to just gateway explode?
Yeah.
Like, their Robo Colossus stuff feels better defensively, and Immortals feel better aggressively. But this feels like a pretty good mix of both, especially when we have so many probes already at our third.
You've killed 5 rounds of reactored units off the factory. So, yeah, I mean, with this gateway explosion, I think as showtime, you think the odds of you dying to a push are 0%.
I agree. And there's a small chance that you can be aggressive on the back foot. And if they do attack you, which we see some fainting or something here, and you crush that, there's 0% chance they defend on the other side, right? Like, you've got a gateway explosion 1/1 charge and Immortals. Like, how could you possibly hold this after getting your army crushed?
Does he have a prism? No. Okay, 4 observers. Look at that. Oh, it's just so
let's
sexy.
see where they go. So one here, one here.
Yeah. Wait, click again? Okay, yeah. So he has that entire side lit up. The bottom part of the map is the only part that's dark. Yeah, look at that.
That's pretty cool. Look at that.
Yeah.
I think the 4th observer somewhere. I guess the 4th
This is
observer
how you be a
watching
good
the middle.
Protoss, guys.
That's crazy.
It's not just making a war prism going in their base.
Okay. Let's see what we got. That was nice.
Hey, so let's take a look at what Marine Lord is doing, actually. Sorry. There we go. So, I mean, he's just gotten his third base up. This has been a very drop-heavy style. Look at this. Another medevac.
Is he, like, zooming in and out there? I think he's looking for,
Was he?
He just did it, right?
Did he?
Watch the
Was
camera.
that his... Oh, that shows that?
Yeah,
no, he did
watch
that
his
to
camera. Because, like, right now it's not bouncing, right?
Yeah.
Now watch when the medevac comes through. So there's bouncing here, right? See it? It's bouncing. Still bouncing, like up and down. See? He's still doing it.
He's looking for observers.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Even if he's just trying to find the observer, like here, so that he knows he can't drop here anymore.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to kill it, but he's still looking for it. That's really cool.
I like that a lot.
That's cute. Okay, cool. So we're looking for the... okay, he's trying to do the same thing he did before, by the way. Not today, my good sir. Oh, maybe today. Actually, no.
Not today. Oh, get out of here.
He's so good. He had a stalker here that he blinked back at the same time. Showtime is just a god. Marine Lord's actually really good at just mechanical stuff, though.
Yeah, he is.
Like, at the same time he's done all this, he's doing this dropping stuff. He's taken his third, fully saturated it, and his production is all, like, perfect. Like, we don't see him floating very much money.
Yeah.
His upgrades are very well timed. He's finding, spots like this. There's a mine on the lower
I
ground.
love that mine. Oh, that is so handsome.
That's very handsome. That one's dead, but still,
that's funny.
It was cute.
Still handsome.
Ooh, fusion core. I guess we're going for the lib range.
I know it's BCs.
2-2. This is interesting. All right, let's keep it going a little bit faster. Oh, that's not good. No bueno there. This is a wide open base. Not sure why it's so wide open. Do you know?
Yeah, that is a little bit weird. Well, he's been so active, that could be part of it. You say he's very good mechanically, and he is, but
imagine, actually,
there has to be a limit.
If this didn't happen, like, this is just, where's Showtime's army? It feels like Showtime's army is just I guess there's some over here. This is scary. And if this drop wasn't messing him up and he had this bio over here with it army.
But then he'd have 8 more zealots at home. Right?
Yeah, 8 more zealots.
8 more zealots definitely makes this army look like crap.
Sure. I'll give you it, even though I'm hesitant.
One more Guardian Shield, let's do it.
This feels bad. This is like the decisive moment where I'm saying Marine Lord is dying, if not dead. it's hard to point out decisive moments where they just lose before the fights happen, but this is like a pretty
Yeah, it
bad.
was pretty back and forth before this. And, I mean, I really liked that he was prepping for Liberator range and switching into Liberators. I feel like strategically it was very well played by Marine Lord.
Yeah, it's just like it's
Just
small.
the Prism did come in, but you're right, there was nothing there. We didn't see
Literally
a Viking
nothing.
made this game, not one turret. It's
Feels
not
like
he
a
made
huge oversight to just not expect a single Warp Prism in the game. Like, at least not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Especially from Showtime, of all people. Like,
Why do you
think he
he's
wouldn't find an
more-
exploit like that?
Oh, okay. Well, it feels like that is a part of his game that is there. He's defended everything, and now the Prism starts checking, right?
I mean, it's a part of almost every Protoss game,
Yeah,
too.
but
it's
I
very
mean-
rare you don't see a Protoss at least try for a Prism.
I think Protoss, Showtime is more mapped out than a lot of Protoss, and he is not likely to ever miss
That window.
opportunity
Yeah, I agree.
right
That's
there.
what I mean. Like, it's just weird that he didn't
Yeah.
try at all. Like, it's not even like he has vision here. He's like, oh, yeah, I can see it come in or something. He just
Do you
has,
see
like,
this Phoenix?
yes.
You think this is just an anti-range
I
Liberator
think this
Phoenix?
is an anti-range Liberator on your mineral line.
Look at that.
You might make more, too, because one just takes forever.
Yeah, no, it takes so long. I actually make Void Rays against that crap.
I think Void Rays are better, but they're too slow to hit the external bases. Like,
Yeah.
if it's one here and one here. But, I don't know. One Phoenix is fine, I guess. That's like 100% you're going to kill it at least, because sometimes they're just impossible to kill without one range
Yeah,
libs. Because Blink Stalkers don't do it. I love how Zealots just don't care. Imagine if Storms actually killed Zealots. Protosses would be so much more careful. Why do Zealots just not die in Storm? Is this a dumb question?
Because they have a lot of health. Storm
Nice.
doesn't actually do that much damage.
I mean, I just watched the bio just disintegrate.
Yeah.
Because they don't
It's
have
much
a lot
lower
of health.
Yeah. And they're stimming, don't forget. They're dealing damage themselves.
Zealots have so much health. What the hell?
Yeah.
Nerf Zealots.
You're just looking for fans right now, aren't you?
Interesting.
Look at Jake sitting here virtue signaling right now. It's like, nerf the Zealots. Wow, the Prism's so strong. Like, all right.
I didn't say the Prism was so strong. I said Marine Lord should have did something.
Yeah.
Although the other episode I said Prisms were too strong, so
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Oh, I like this play.
Oh, nice.
How does this even happen?
You know, it feels like the only thing that really went wrong here for Marine Lord was
That prism.
flying in.
Yep.
Everything else, he's played such a solid game. It was cool to see this Maru-esque style of mass drops.
I agree.
Should speed it up just a little.
Sure. I also don't like StarCraft.
I hate it. I can't wait for this to be over.
Yeah, that was a big mistake. Is that another Prism?
Hmm. Oh, did he lose his range up? No, he finished it.
How many Liberators is this? Is there such thing as too many?
9.
Okay, 9 is not too many. That's a lot of circly boys. He actually has a decent window to go right now, I think.
Wait, on +3 armor, do High Templars not get one-shotted by libs? Is that how that works?
I have no idea.
All right, let's just check. Click the one that's really red. Click the one that's really red. We got 3 health left. Oh, wait. Well, I guess... Wait, how much damage? 80 damage. Click on a High Templar.
40, 40.
80.
Yeah.
So actually, because they start with 0 base armor.
So it would keep them alive,
So
right?
you need to have one more... Wait, no. How much plus do you get for the libs?
I don't know.
Anyways, whatever. I didn't realize that was the case.
Interesting.
Normally, my ghosts have already been EMP'd when they get hit by Liberators, so I'm not used to this.
This fight doesn't even feel that bad for Marine Lord.
It's just too many storms. Oh, that EMP. Ooh.
Yeah, it also feels like it's too bunched up. But like the libs are all in a big ball.
Yeah.
Like really, once this army starts, like 4 libs have only left. Look at the
He just had a
HP.
few
This is
more
just so
units.
squishy. Yeah.
A few more units here. Because it's not that many stalkers. I love the hold position under the Liberation Zone.
Yeah. This prism can come back in still. $156 to 65 workers to 76. This base dies. Ooh, that's a nice pickup on the prism. What?
What am I looking
That's
at?
awkward. He's really not even a terrible spot. The only problem is the Tempest really put a time frame on him if he doesn't start making a ton of Vikings. 3/3 DTs, nice. Is there anything scarier?
Then 3/3 DTs when they have blink.
3/3 DTs with blink. Do they have blink? Nope, not yet. Oh! Oh!
Ooh, what a catch.
Oh my god, come on. Do we not have scans? Actually? Is this macro that good?
Yeah, I guess so.
145. I mean, at this point, his army's trading very poorly. What is it? The upgrades are... Oh, 3/3 is way off for Marine Lord. I think at 16... Is 16 minutes too early for 3/3?
No.
Yeah, I feel like 3/3 should already be done. He honestly didn't play a very bad game at all.
No, I think that overall this was very, very well played.
It really feels like it's stemmed down
especially when you see that battle he took at the bottom left that killed the base and did good against the army. Can you imagine if that prism hadn't screwed everything up earlier on?
Yeah, he could have had 3/3. For sure.
Oh, yeah. He would have been just in a better spot in every way.
I agree. It's interesting because, I mean, on paper, Marine Lord should never really come to Showtime's level with a break and all. Like, Showtime is just being the guy for so long now.
Yeah, well, I mean, he has off years occasionally.
Or would you count this year as an off year?
No. He seems to be in good shape. But, I mean, most of last year he was below what we thought he should be, right?
I agree. I think we consistently said he would perform higher than he did.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes we saw him go out on round of 32s, and we're like, what?
Yeah, didn't seem quite right.
These fights are so close to being so good for Marine Lord.
Yeah, yeah. I really like his play. Like, watching this game, for instance, makes me want to go play some Terran. I never played Terran in StarCraft 2.
Trust me, it does not want you to play Terran. You don't want to play Terran. You look at this and you're like, oh, maybe I can do it, and then your entire army just disappears, and you're like, what? How did he do it?
Oh, the
what
GG!
was that?
Oh, GG!
What was that? What does that mean?
Wow.
I'd be insulted.
I think he's feeling the salt from... Now, here's the thing. That's game 1. We got to go look at game 2 that Marine Lord wins and see if Showtime GG's like that.
He should. He really should.
Wait, where is it? Marine Lord. There it is.
So, big takeaways from that game feel like the turret was just non-existent.
Yeah, he didn't block the prism. Everything else seemed very
It
cool.
felt really good, yeah.
I'm still a little bit confused by these mass mine drop games because it seems like they don't do enough damage.
Yeah, I mean, I think...
And they use a lot of gas, you know?
You, like, 100% need to do damage with them, too.
It's like 300 gas each time you drop. I guess gas is not the big resource for Terran in this matchup, so maybe that's just a good place to use.
You know what's interesting? There's actually, I've found this out as a Terran player, there's a resource called add-ons.
Yeah.
And you value how long your reactor is in use.
It's like larva for Zerg.
It's actually like weird to think about it in this way, but like when your reactor is in use for the entire period of the game, like just building mines or whatever, like it does take away from your bio army. You know, like it's basically like having one less racks building Marines.
Yeah.
So it does feel weird sometimes.
You know, I always wondered about, because sometimes in these giant macro games, you'll see someone with like so many barracks and they'll have like 6 reactors on them. Sometimes I look at that at 50-50 versus 150. I'm like, should you just add more Raxes?
Yeah.
And I guess that the Terran pros have figured this out already and knows the answer, but I don't know if I trust it, you know?
Sure. I mean, even if you do that in the late game, you get the ability to build what add-ons you want, because eventually
Yeah.
add-ons are going to be more efficient, I think.
Eventually, I do
Well,
agree.
especially you need tech labs eventually. Like,
Well.
as much as you don't want reactors or whatever, you do need tech labs.
And
It'd be interesting if you had like 9 Raxes and you're just like, you know what, it's tech lab time. You just throw down 9 tech labs and
Damn.
then you can swap out all your starports.
That would wreck.
I think the problem is you don't have enough resources early on, like minerals, to build the Raxes you want.
Yeah.
Like to match this, we would need what, another Rax? One more Rax?
Yeah.
Actually, it doesn't feel that
The
bad.
thing is, you're using the reactor for other things, and obviously
That's
the
the thing,
reactor for
too.
starports and for factories, it's really needed.
Yeah, and I think we see reactors swap around a lot.
You should be able to put a reactor on the command center.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. What do you mean? No.
Build 2 SCVs at a time.
That'd be disgusting. Jesus. You should
How
be able
many
to build
drones can you
should be able to
build
build
at a
a
time,
reactor on an engineering bay too. That way you can get 2 upgrades at a time.
Oh, I think that would be bad. I'd snipe that fucker every game. I'd be dropping 2 immortals off in that base.
What else could you put a reactor on? That's about it, I guess. No reactors on command center. That'd be
Put it on the gas. Mine that thing out in no time. A reactor gas can let a mule into it.
no. Have you seen they have like the tech lab reactors in the campaign?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's disgusting. What do they call them? I can't even remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
What's a tech you guys know, because you guys are casuals. Which one's the tech? Is it a reactor core?
Burn.
What is it called? We'll wait for them to get to me.
Yeah. So what is this build that we're seeing from
Tech
Marine Lord? Let's
reactors?
take a look real quick.
Oh, I heard an explosion. Where was it?
I think it was just a unit, yeah, like a stalker.
Okay, well.
It was right there.
Oh. Yeah,
Okay,
I see the
so-
confetti.
Yeah, hold on a second, though. I want to just take a look at exactly what this build is.
It's a tech reactor. Got it. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so he has 1 medevac, 2 tanks. All right, it looks pretty normal, right? +1 in stim coming along.
Hmm.
3rd base going up. Yeah, this type of play is just so standard right now, like in general, right? The 3 barracks, couple tanks, grab a Raven,
One
some
engineering bay,
medevacs. Yeah, and just kind of moving out at that time. We saw Innovation doing this type of thing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because the mass mine drop style, that's like a very Maru thing. We don't see too many people try it, but the more TVPs I'm watching lately, it seems like this general idea of play from Terran. It's like you're kind of safe against everything you can kind of put on pressure.
Yeah, and it's also good defensively too, right? Like when you have this many Raxes and stuff.
It's just like the right amount so you can get your 3rd base up and not be scared of anything.
Yeah, I agree. There's not too much to comment on this right now. Oh,
No.
Oh! He almost lost his reactor. This is a
Raven,
weird
you
fight. Or it's Raven, yeah.
that
Reacted
was great.
Ravens. This is a lot of stalkers.
Yeah, it is.
It's actually kind of rare to see just like your decision is mass blink stalker. Oh my god. Hello? Is this like the decisive moment from... Oh my god!
Wow.
10 workers already die?
Wow.
And he's going to lose more? Okay, this is basically the same moment as Marine Lord's game where he just lost.
Yeah.
Look at this. He's just killing stalkers. And probes still. 17!
That is so much
17!
damage.
And they're still alive.
And
Look.
Showtime's army is not the type of army that you're going to play a long comeback game with.
This is like such... If you think about it, this is not the army Showtime wanted.
Yeah.
Like you said, coming from behind. This is an army you want when you're ahead.
Yeah.
Because then you've got all the power to do what you want to do. But if you're stuck on a low econ army or low econ with this, you're like, what do I even do? You know? If you have a high econ, you can throw units away. It's okay. But if you're behind an economy, it feels so bad to have stalkers because you're like, all these stalkers are so important,
Yeah.
but they're also just garbage.
Yeah.
So,
If Marine Lord just turtles from here, it seems so good.
yeah. Which I wouldn't be surprised if he does.
Just sit back for a minute.
Where are these going? Where are these boys going? No 3rd here. those circles are really scary. I agree. I mean, he's finding the damage. That's for sure.
I feel like he should have split some of these.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like
I
attack
mean, I don't
here.
want to be too much of a ridiculous theory
wish it would be
crafter,
perfect.
But yeah.
I wish I had 4 bases too. Maybe some carriers. Yeah, that was a big deal. Like, he's still catching up, 68 to 63. In theory, he could have like 70 something, but he's having to build probes the whole time.
Ooh.
If this push gets stomped, though, I'm going to be really impressed.
It's always funny how important the Raven is in these early pushes.
Yeah, it's so
The
important.
value of that unit.
Huh.
Oh, those mine connects didn't do as well as I thought they would, actually.
They did not.
They looked like they were going to really massacre that, but... Okay.
Yeah, this is a weird fight to call. In the long run, I feel like that was better for Showtime, but also Showtime's army comp is so low tech. Like, if it was any higher tech, I think he just dies. You know what I mean? Like, if it's not just a million Zealot Stalker, and it's like Colossi or something, and you take away, like, 8 or 9 Zealots,
Yeah.
then you probably just die there.
I think you're right about that.
Like, a lot of my games I die, and I'm like, how did I die? Like, I'm trying to not die, and I realize, like, adding on these Colossi and stuff and waiting for them is just so much time and money.
Yeah, sometimes you don't really realize how many units you can really make if you just are like, I'm going to make a lot of units.
I think this is what makes a really good Protoss player like this. Like, to be able to figure out when you can and can't tech.
Yeah.
This feels like a really bad fight for Showtime.
With this warping, though. Well, actually, that was mostly High Templars. That's kind of funny. Still has so many Stalkers.
Feels like this is just inefficient. The only thing is Stim is actually eating away at Marine Lord's army more than this army is.
Yeah, I know, right?
2-2.
Is that a drop on the right-hand side? Where's that? All right.
Oh, he killed a pylon. Whoa.
Oh, boy.
Not again. This is so good, by the way. Every Terran player should do this. Like,
yeah. The multi-pronged is so important.
Yeah. If you're not doing this, what are you doing?
Yeah, I just really like the style that we're seeing out of Marine Lord. Like, the way he's, like, trying to whittle this army down and then doing the drop as well.
Yeah.
Now you can just pick that up. Doesn't need to do that
I think
anymore.
he stayed here a little long, but yeah, I agree. It could be for this, but...
Because he has 4 bases during all this, so...
Yeah, it's okay to do this.
The trading is completely fine.
I agree. I think at some points, though, the trading comes, like, way off, you know? Like, you want to be trading at least something, not just, like, your army for nothing. He has no medevacs at all,
And
right?
I love how he makes the Liberators, too. I've been kind of shell-shocked from too many GSL TVPs where they were playing against this gateway style and they just wouldn't make Liberators and they eventually die. And everyone complains about TVT. I'm like, just make the Liberators, please.
One thing to note, since the nerf, the upgrades feel, like, so much better for Terran.
Yeah, the timing of them and stuff. Like, people are not just skipping the armory. And
yeah.
the fact that it's a question who's going to get to 2-2 first.
It's almost like, did they all just, like, not have good upgrades originally, so they were like, oh, guys, we can't upgrade, like, do something about it, and then as soon as Blizzard nerfs it, they're like, let's actually build our armories on time, get our 3-3 on time, you know?
Well, they realize that it is a real doable thing now. It's kind of like when the Prism first got its first, like, buff. Suddenly people started using Prisms.
Right.
And then they nerfed it down to almost where it was, and they kept using them. And it was just like, you had to show them in some way,
Yeah,
right?
sometimes people do this a lot, actually.
Yeah. It's like, okay, really, try this out. It's good. No, it's not. And then you...
I mean, this was kind of like the mine, too. Remember when they first removed that thing, like, when it went off, it would be visible, and everyone's like, now we can't make these ever. Like, they're the worst harass ever.
And now they're
we see
back
it.
in a huge way. I remember when mech was such a big thing way back in TVT, and then, like, remember Blue Flame used to give +10, and then it went down to +5? Juan told me, he's like, no, it's +5. It's not. It's mech is dead. It's unusable.
Juan says,
and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh my god, because everyone stopped going mech all at once in that situation. They're like, yeah, it's only +5 attack now instead of +10, and I'm like, are we serious here?
I mean, they do that. They do that all the time. I mean, Juan basically said battlecruisers are dead when they nerfed the Yamato, and then he went battlecruisers every game, basically.
Yeah.
You know the one thing that's actually dead? Overlord drops early in game.
Oh,
That's dead.
Well, you can't get it early game anymore, so that would be why.
Oh my god, this fight looks so sick for Marine Lord, by the way.
Sometimes it's very hard to judge.
It is. Ooh.
Oh, the
he
straight
missed
GG.
It. What an honorable man.
What?
What an
That's
honorable
a macro
man.
toss there.
Yeah.
You guys want to nerf Protoss? What, you want to never see Showtime again? This guy's great.
Yeah, that was really well played by. But honestly, the first game all fell to the Prism. This game felt like it all went down to that one drop killing like
that is true.
18 workers. So far, I haven't felt like anybody's outplayed anybody yet.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I just really like what I'm seeing from Marine Lord overall.
No,
I like that he used two very different styles there, too.
It feels like if we
Ropers.
give Marine Lord like a little bit more time, he'll be former self. Like he was at the time of some of his like achievements were just incredible. Like he all killed Korea. Like I remember that was like insane. You know.
They were all jet lagged and tired, and
here we go.
There was lag.
That was it.
Okay.
It was like,
jeez,
this
lag. Guy. Okay.
Anyways,
you just need to put that asterisk there.
Okay, well, killing Koreans with lag is still impressive. Jet lag, that is. It was offline, wasn't it?
No, that was online.
Oh. Okay. What do we got? This is a very fast robo bay.
Yeah, what is this exactly? Hold on.
Disruptor drop? That'd be so sick. We see a prism really fast. I don't think it's disruptor drop. It's probably just a quick Colossus. But
quick Colossus
why?
with quick prism.
Only 2 gates, by the way.
Huh.
Oh, disruptor. Oh, and it is disruptor drop. This is
I
so
didn't
exciting.
expect to see that.
I'm ready.
That's really interesting. Hold on, I want to see what he's seen over here. Okay, so he's got his observer over here. He's kind of figuring out what's going on.
I don't think he's seen anything special. This kind of looks...
No, it just looks... It looks pretty normal.
Looks
I mean, he sees the
game,
Widow
right?
Mines and he sees this making, so he's pretty sure this is going to be a drop. Excuse me.
Yeah. Did the mine drop go off last game? I think so, right?
Mine drop?
I feel like this is exactly the same. Is that a tech lab? Yeah, so far it's 2 tech labs still. It feels basically the same as the game we just had.
Yeah. I think this is the most standard opening. Okay, let's see this.
Look, he knows where the army is, by the way.
Oh my god! Oh my god, what?
I think Marine Lord's brain is just fried right now. Look at this. Oh. Shoot the disruptor off, no? If he was really fast, he might have been able to kill both of those with the
Wait, how's the disruptor drop going on the other side? Is he doing anything?
Where is it?
Oh, it's down at the bottom. Okay.
What is this pile?
Oh, I like that. Yeah, no, look at that. Between that and the patrol probe, he has most of the vision down there.
Yeah, right.
That's pretty decent.
Remember, I was talking about probes.
Yeah. No, I like it.
You like it?
Well, for now, I think he should put a pylon there in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm
right
just
now
saying.
He's looking for drops, like Widowmine drops.
Yeah.
But later on, when there's armies roaming, I think that the probes out there are not as good as the pylons.
Sure.
But right now,
so for context, guys, I was playing Protoss, and I asked Artosis, like, why don't we...
He texted me in the middle of the night because he was so excited, basically.
I was extremely excited because it felt really good. It felt really good to me. I was like, why don't Protosses use probes more often, right? They're cheaper than a pylon. You can move them around. It's kind of like an observer. They do die quickly, which was Artosis' point. But it felt really good.
Yeah, okay, so... And here's my analysis why he's doing it. So what I told to Jake, what I did say to Jake was like it sounds okay, but the pylon in a lot of ways is better. It's a commitment to kill this. It's not a commitment to kill this, right? So if you're going to kill this, you know exactly what's over there basically, and it takes time. Like if a probe dies, you might be doing something over here and you can't go check. If a pylon dies, you always have time to check what's going on.
I feel like
you always see what's there.
If you're Showtime, that doesn't matter. I think if you're good enough, it doesn't matter that it's a probe. Like
Okay.
You should see
Now,
the ping. And
if
know.
my army's here, I can stim forward 1 Marine or 1 Marauder and kill this in like 2 seconds,
Yeah, well, I
right?
think
So
it's
you
more
don't
for the-
actually see everything there.
It's more for the
I
drops.
can't do that here. I
Sure.
can put a Marauder on it, but that's a Marauder that's sitting there all day.
But an army, yeah, okay. I think in certain situations it's better. But for example, if this was a probe bouncing back and forth here, if you have to stop your drop...
Yeah.
Right?
Early game, I think it's all right. But when there's actual armies out there, I think it becomes a lot weaker.
Yeah. I mean, this is basically how I was using it too.
Okay.
But I did it instead of observers because... Oh, you know why, too? Here's another thing to think about. The reason why I did it was because I remember I needed my robo to never build an observer. Because it was such a tight defense. I remember I was like, if I build an observer right now, no Colossus, I'm dead. So because you don't just build one either, you build multiple. I was just like, no. Like, one observer here, I feel like it's way better to have a probe and then be able to build a second Colossus or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Nice. Not as good, but you know what? That's okay.
You don't have to hit with all of them. The first one getting 8. And the thing that I like about this build, and I wish that this build was more usable, but the thing that
or used?
Usable. Like, I don't feel like this is
Disruptor
something
drop?
that, yeah.
I feel like it's so good. I
Is
just feel like it's underused.
Maybe it is. Like, I mean, I was trying it for a bit, and I had a hard time, but I'm just saying, like, what I like about this with the speed prism is the flanks you can do with it.
Yes.
The flanks on incoming armies are so absurd.
They are. And
It's like High Templars coming in later game, but even more powerful.
I agree. And the disruptors are used the entire game. This is why I don't think it's bad to do it. Yeah, you're right. He did build a pylon.
Huh. Why would he build that
It's almost
pylon?
like we're both right. It's like we're both right.
I think we can just go with I'm right.
I think I was right too, though. Like, I'm not saying you need to leave it there the whole game. Just certain points in the game feel really good with the probe. That was my point. It's okay.
Okay.
Got a couple wrinkles, but not a full wrinkle brain there.
My brain looks like a crumpled newspaper, okay?
Yeah,
I don't expect you to have that until you're my age.
maybe one day. Yeah, like, this feels so good. Like, just to be able to stop any pushes, basically.
Yeah.
And, like, these disruptors, again, are just used so well with Colossus later on anyways. Like,
are you not surprised that he hasn't just made, like, a Viking?
he should, I think.
Like, one Viking.
I think he should, especially if he's got a reactor. But at the same time, the prism speed, you're never losing this prism. Oh, disable!
Well,
That was a huge mistake. He could have 100% killed that. There was no way Showtime was looking at that because my heart was, like, racing for him. Because that would have just been an instant 2 disruptors dead.
Yeah, that would have been sick.
Big mistake, I think.
Oops. So he's hitting this exact same timing that we see. Now, here's those flanks. Oh, my God, these are so good. Oh, but he was actually maybe dropped at the wrong place. I think he should have ferried him down a bit. Oh, that's the worst right there.
Nice job, Showtime.
Oh, and look at this. Oh, the tank placement. Oh, get out of here, Colossus.
This is scary.
I'm looking at this
as hell.
If the disruptors don't get good hits, Marine Lord wins this.
I agree.
His army is actually so much better except for the disruptors.
I agree.
Oh, I like this build from Showtime. I'm getting chills. I like it.
I like
This
Showtime's
is
build a lot
cool.
too. I think he could have done better with this. And I guess the Raven is actually part of the reason why this build's not 100%. You know, like, I think without the Raven, this would be so scary. But, like, there's actually a ton of risk, too. Like, if you shoot off a ball and you get disabled here and you lose 2 disruptors, the game just ends, I think. Like, it's so crucial that you can't lose these.
Disruptors themselves don't cost that much, but yeah, if you get...
But it's just the whole momentum of everything. Like, losing 2 disruptors and a prism, it's just like, these are Colossus that don't exist. These are resources that you invested into something that did nothing. So you have to be good to do this, I think. Because if you're not watching at almost all points, you just lose. Like, I've done this with not disruptors, but immortals, which are similar.
Oh, if you lose the immortals,
it's just game over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's watch how this plays out.
Yeah. It's a little bit scary.
This is very scary. Oh, I like this. I like this.
Disable. Good disable. Good
This
disable.
is such a good disable here. Oh, okay, wait. This is such an intricate fight. Holy cow.
Oh, he recalled to it.
This is so smart. Is he going to save this Colossus too? All right, I'm ready. Oh, he doesn't save it.
Okay, but this army about to recall in, if
this
he
is
hits
either
his thermal lances right in the middle of those Marines...
Yeah, this is either going to be the sickest thing ever, or his entire army just dies.
I know who wins, so I know what's going to happen. All right, go.
That's a dead Colossus. Oh my
those
God.
force fields.
That was a sick
Good
save
pickup.
too, though.
Marine
That was
Lord's
like
good,
the
man.
most intricate fight from both players. That was so smart.
If StarCraft 2 was the stock market, I would be buying some Marine Lord stock for the next WCS. Seriously.
Yeah, I would too.
Oh!
The disable.
I was like, where'd it go? Oh, okay.
I'm surprised that this fight didn't just get rolled here. This fight went a lot better for Showtime than I thought it would.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, he didn't even get the big disruptor hits, which I felt like was the key. Those force fields.
Look at the money.
Wow. Damn. What a macro.
Yeah, what's going on right now? How many gates do we have? Maybe
Well, he
that's
lost
it?
a bunch of his production down at the natural, right?
5 gates. Huh. It feels weird that he has this much money. Okay, it's all gone now. What? What? Why is it all gone? Oh,
Yeah, he just makes a bunch of
producing
stuff.
a little bit of everything. Is this this is the third game, right? We've watched.
This is the third game.
That was almost really bad. Good thing there was no Marines there.
Just having speed warp prisms is so good.
Yeah.
It is like so powerful to have speed warp prism.
I mean, his base is wide open again too. For now. I actually really like Marine Lord's position right now.
Let's take a look. 59, yeah, 59 to 66. He's got 9 medevacs right now, and his
a lot.
Raven's still alive.
That means he can produce Vikings constantly if he
Oh
wants to.
my God, yeah. Well, he's going
building
into
libs.
Liberator.
Which is fine.
What do you think about Liberator here, actually, as opposed to
Viking?
yeah?
I actually don't like it as much as... It makes some sense depending on how many disruptors are made. Like, maybe if I had more vision of what was being produced to the Robo. Like, for example, Vikings are so good against, like, Prism and Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
But disruptors are pretty scary. I think both are fine for their own rights.
I don't think that Liberators are like a counter to Disruptor. I think it's
No,
kind of like
they're not.
you can use them against Disruptors, and you use Disruptors against them.
To be fair, it seems like Marine Lord just favors Liberator play, though. Like, almost every game we've seen him go for it.
I actually like Liberators more than Vikings in most cases.
I think
The Colossus is already
too,
pretty good against
it
Liberator.
feels nice to have Vikings so you don't get just memed on.
Yeah. Well, he should have made one Viking, 100%. As soon as the Spree Prism was coming in, like, in my opinion, you need a Viking there. But I guess these builds that he's hitting are very, very sharp. So maybe he says, I have to get that medevac right now to hit the push. Because he's looking for a win. He's not looking to just, unguard every move that comes at him. He's looking more to hit his own punch.
It's really nice that he saved those medevacs, because he can actually just produce out of his starports freely.
Yeah. 9 medevacs with this much energy?
A lot of the time when you lose medevacs, like, you need to rebuild them, and that limits the Viking/Liberator count.
Now he's making 4 libs at a time right now.
Oh my God, this position. Again, this should never happen, I think. Where's the Raven? I saw a Raven, didn't I?
Yeah, it's in there. It's right there.
Where?
It's behind the medevacs.
Oh, there it is. Okay, this is scary as hell.
Yeah. That's really scary.
Okay, here
he
we go.
doesn't have his Psy Storm even close to ready.
Ooh, nice force fields.
Yeah, really good.
Do you think the disable and the Colossi are the best thing you could do here?
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, I do. Because that's like how you fight against
this. This is so good. Okay, he didn't commit to it. I almost like to just go for it.
He'll lose his entire army.
Yeah, he might.
He's still trying for it, though. Well, just whittling units down.
If you get this base, it's almost game ending. He's doing it like more methodically than I think he yeah. It's hard to say. Look at how much HP. This almost feels like you go for it, right?
I don't think he would have gotten it, though. I think he loses everything.
I think he gets it, but he might lose everything.
But if you lose the 2 Liberators and that many Marauders,
doesn't.
I like the pullback. You really think he should have dived? Because he's
Does he
not going to
lose the
kill
libs?
any units. He'll lose the libs and he'll lose the army, but
Medevacs
he'll
will
get
live.
most of the medevacs out. Let's say he loses 1 medevac. 1 to 2 medevac. Okay, and he loses both libs and he loses all those Marauders. I think it's better to let the Nexus live.
Where's his upgrades?
He's got 1/1.
Nothing on the way?
Does he have an armory?
No.
He has no armory.
Jesus.
Okay, so he's heavy. He's heavy right now.
Yeah, maybe that's a little bit. If he had 2/2 on the way, I think going for it's not that bad because
Well,
you can play really passive.
Yeah,
you'd
you'd have to turtle like crazy at that point. Yeah,
Huh.
no, I think it was.
I think
right
this
to
is the
pull
right
back.
call, considering he's no 2/2. Because like, yeah, if you lose your whole army and you don't have 2/2, then what do you have?
Oh, he just started his armory.
Oh, that's bad. That was a mistake, I think. Ooh, maybe he would have just died though. This is so, going for it. I don't know how to explain it.
You gotta just run that.
Oh.
Oh, he turns around. I'm not sure I like the turnaround.
I don't know about this either. Oh, he actually saved so many workers. It's fine now. But this is like not.
Worked out.
This doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, normally
where you
you'll
save
get
the
that.
base or save your workers. I like this.
I feel like Showtime could have killed that.
This feels either really good or really bad. There's no in between. Oh, back up. This is getting real awkward, boys. Oops. Oh, siege up! Siege up, siege up, siege up, siege up! This seems like a huge mistake by Marine Lord or Showtime, I
Well,
feel.
if he had insta-sieged all of them on this Nexus,
You just lose.
that's a game-winning move right there.
Right?
Yes.
I agree 100%.
You get 6 Liberator shots the
Instant,
second that
yeah.
they warp in,
And you could, yeah.
and then your Stim Bio comes in.
This has to be a massive mistake from Showtime, I think. This is not even a very good army.
Okay, we got to look at
Look,
their
he
visions as this
missed.
happened.
He missed one on the Templar, too.
Okay, sets that up. He's going down. He's going down. Okay, here we go. Slowing this down a little bit. All right, turns.
Siege up.
Oh, the prism came in.
No, he's not
The
watching.
prism came in and distracted him.
No.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, this is so unfortunate.
Wow.
Are we getting a GG in quotes for this game? G.
Just a G. They do the just 1G on purpose, don't they?
I feel like it's an accident a lot of the time, but I mean for me.
No, every game that I see that looks like a really frustrating loss, I see a 1G.
Yeah, that's because you were trying to leave really fast, I think.
No. I leave games so fast all the time.
Listen, if
It's
I
on
really wanted to,
purpose.
I'd just tell them to fuck off, okay? 1G doesn't mean
But this
shit.
is on WCS. These guys are being broadcasted right
He
now.
gave him a quote, GG quote.
Yeah.
Why
but
would
I
he do
think
that
he
again?
just, because you don't want to do that twice.
How fast did
It's
he
no
leave?
skill.
Was it an instant?
Hold on, wait. What are you looking at? What are you looking at?
I just want to see the G and leave time, like the period between the two. That was pretty quick, my dude.
Yeah, but no. You're wrong on this. You are wrong on this.
Am I?
The single G is a diss. It is a diss.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, I
quotes,
barely ever
GG
GG,
quotes.
and I've GG'd thousands and millions of times, and like, it takes no more time to type 2 Gs. 1 G is salt, that is anger, that's just game. It's not good game, it's game. It is
It's game.
Yeah, it's you saying that I lost. I can't believe that though. The prism flying in at that moment
He's so
really saved Showtime.
This game could have just ended, I think. Damn. If he just ignored the prism completely.
I think we got time for one more replay.
Yeah, if you want. You just love StarCraft, don't you?
I do.
What do you want?
I don't know. What do I want? I want one more Marine Lord game. What map do you want on?
What's the other game's length?
It's Mana at 10 minutes. Mana at 9 minutes. Where's Mana
Oh, it's
2?
game 3? Up. It's at the top.
And a 14-minute game.
What about a TVT?
TVT?
Marine Lord versus Hero Marine.
Let's look at game 3. See
Sure.
who quotes their GGs.
Oh, there's no game 3, is there?
Yeah, there's.
Oh, there is?
There it is.
Okay, there you go.
4 minutes, 13 seconds. Yes!
This is a good choice. Okay, let's see what we got. It's got to be a Proxy Rex, no? There it is.
Has to be. Oh, I love it.
I like this. This shows a lot, though, right? Like, Marine Lord being able to Proxy Rex Hero Marine and win. That's pretty impressive, no?
Like, what about it?
Like,
What do you mean?
I'm assuming he didn't Proxy Rex both games. Right?
Yeah, that would be pretty surprising.
So,
for
like,
me.
he shows a lot of versatility in his play for someone who's coming back and returning.
Yeah.
And if you can do things to, like, the level that they're killing people, like, Hero Marine doesn't just lose to any Proxy Rex. It has to be well executed, well timed.
Where did he go? Is he one of the guys that went to Overwatch?
Yeah.
Okay. So he was still playing games competitively. I think that does help.
Sure, I agree.
With your speed coming back, even if it's.
I think the
different.
biggest thing is, like, if he
game.
was watching StarCraft or not, too. Like, if you're doing your Overwatch thing, but you're keeping up with the pro scene and, like, keeping up with the meta shifting constantly, even if you don't play, that's such a huge edge.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever take a break in your competitive player, what?
It's crazy. Concussive, man. Yeah.
Proxy Marauder versus
excited.
Terran.
That's good.
Have you seen this before?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay, I mean, I don't care about you back in the day, Granny Artosis in
Not that
2010.
long ago, but yeah,
Back in my day,
it's been a
it was
while.
normal to get concussive first.
It's probably 2 years.
That's a very long time. So no is the answer I'm looking
So
for.
I've never seen it before, even though I saw it before 2 years ago.
I'm talking about in current meta. Okay, let's see what we got. Double Marauder.
Oh, yeah.
Do we not just send our Reaper across the map? I guess sometimes we don't. No, you know what? We never do, now that I think about it in TVT.
Yeah, see, if he's playing against 2 Proxy Rex Reaper, then this is what'll win him it. Wow, he's screwed. He's already dead. Look at that.
This is so cool. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
I like the pick off.
Look, how would you kill this?
Oh my god. I love it.
An
Gives
engineer
himself the vision on the high ground and everything.
Yeah.
Love it.
A lot of people build a bunker that would already be dead right now.
Yeah, yeah. Just awesome play.
What kills this many Marauders?
You drill through them and surround them.
He's not going to have that happen, though. There's no way.
Yeah, that's the problem, right?
Look
You
at-
kill
look
the
at-
bunker. You kill the
Hey.
greedy bunker someone tried to make at the top of the ramp. That's how you kill him.
What did you say? You drill through him, right?
Yeah.
Here we go. He's trying. Oh, look at that focus fire. Maybe. Do you think he should have kept going there?
Oh, he scans? He scans to kill the mine? Oh.
Yikes. Look at the engineering bay is still alive. Oh, here comes another one. Not today. Look at that. He's going to get it.
Oh, my God.
This is just beautiful.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for this.
Dude, if I was on Jeopardy, I would be all like Marine Lord for 1,000, Alex. Like,
There's the engineering bay. Finally dies. But doesn't even matter anymore. Look at he's building his own Marauder. Okay.
oh, I love it, man.
How good do you think this actually is?
GG, Cap, GG. Damn.
How good do you think this actually is?
The double proxy Marauder?
Better
good
or worse
question.
than Proxy Reaper?
I think it's, well,
They're better
because
against
of the
different
current
things.
meta, it's probably better.
I agree.
Because the proxy double racks Reaper actually happens pretty
People expect it,
regularly.
yeah.
So, like, the way that Hero Marine was playing was almost preparation for it. The way that he went Reaper and sat them both at home. That's like
And
what
a
you want to
Hellion.
do. Yeah, exactly.
Like a Hellion's
So-
never killed a Marauder.
If that was double proxy racks Reaper, you wouldn't have done anything, and Marine Lord just would have had an edge.
Yeah.
If they both micro normal mounts.
I agree.
But yeah, that's
It's interesting that we have never seen this
cool.
like in the current meta.
Yeah,
It's very interesting.
cool games today.
Cool games.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
This was good stuff.
This is a good episode. We talked a bit about a lot of things.
We did talk about a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's went on a few tangents there.
That's okay.
Fun times though.
I think that's what people come to expect from us.
We can't help it. This is you guys are just watching us talk about StarCraft. What day are we on? Okay, we actually don't have any new questions in the Patreon questions. But guys, if you'd like to support the show, Patreon is the best way as of right now. So check it out. Patreon.com/indepth SC2.
And check out our Discord where we will be talking and hanging out, and you can interact with our community,
Yeah.
which we have a command for. Also, we
yeah.
have some plans for
Whoa. Yeah.
we have some plans for our shows, which will be really impressive and amazing,
Yeah.
and you guys will love them so much.
You guys are like you think you like the show now. You're gonna look back at this show and be like,
What happened?
that was the second best analysis show ever because In Depth Now is just so
better
much
than
better.
better than the other in depth.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's gonna be good. We have some really great plans that I think we're not gonna announce the exact date yet, but maybe in a couple weeks we're
Yes.
gonna have kind of. You see, our graphics are already better.
Mm-hmm.
Things are improving.
Yep. We're also going to try and change up our Patreon a bit more,
Yes.
make it a little bit more enticing for you guys to donate to us.
And,
But, Yeah. That's about it.
I think that is it. Guys, thanks for watching.
We'll let you guys know about next week, because next week will be different. I can promise you. Even if it is on Friday, it's going to be a different time. Like, we'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, GSL qualifiers next week, so we will see about that. But please do remember to tune into In Depth and check them out, the VODs on YouTube and stuff. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys.
See you next week.